We are live from Bellbank Park in Mesa, Arizona at the Legacy Sports Complex. My name is Kevin Derryberry, and I'm joined in the broadcast booth by the man that is Cody Cameron. He is a local college scout, right? You were a recruiter?
Recruiting analyst, just a football guy.
He's a recruiting analyst. That is exactly what CC is about, and he is my broadcast partner tonight, and we are privileged to be here. Great ball game in store. We saw the Outlaws last week, a team that came in unceremoniously, right? They came in with some questions. You weren't sure what was going to happen at quarterback with them. They made a change at quarterback. They went with the big fella. He got ejected. That's Rico McNeil. But I tell you what we saw in a brief amount of time of Rico McNeil, this guy is a big, bad boy, and he can spin it like no other.
Yeah, and the Outlaws are 1-2 heading into this game. But make no mistake, Kevin, they could be 3-0. They honestly, last week against that Canes team, that ferocious Canes team, this Outlaws team not only proved themselves offensively, they were able to score 24 points on a defense that haven't given up a single point all season, and they honestly should have won that football game. Could have won that game by 2 touchdowns if a couple plays go their way. And they're going up against a Spartans team here, Kevin, that could be the best team in this entire league. I was told this is the best defensive front in this whole league. They got multiple former Power 5 players out there for this 3-0 Spartans team. So I'm excited, and I am stoked for this matchup.
It is a great matchup on paper. It's a marquee matchup. The first game of the day, the Outlaws got it done. They won 39-6. So here we are ready to commence the nightcap here on the CMX network. And it is a great game on paper. The Spartans, they made a quarterback change after week 1. They went with Scotty Hutchinson to begin the season. He is a well-documented player. He's a star in this league at quarterback. But they have made a move, and now Scotty Hutchinson is the backup quarterback. But it's now Jake Mortensen that's taken the snaps. And for Jake Mortensen, in just 3 games, 489 yards passing, 8 touchdowns. He's been a difference maker as he's been now named the starting quarterback. Back deep from the 10. The Outlaws have the football. Breaking a tackle around the 30 to 35-yard line. On the move for the Phoenix Outlaws. That appeared to be Carl Evans Jr. The guy that you're looking for here is number 28. That's Benny Williams. He is their bell cow tailback. But the question tonight, Cody, will they use him as a bell cow?
Well, the good thing about this Outlaws offense here, Kevin, is they have multiple running backs who can get it done. We broadcasted him last week. Benny Williams is a great combination of speed and power. And they also have number 6. He was the unnamed player last week because he was not on our rosters. We found out very quickly that is number 6, Booby Conley. And he is a freaking stud as well for the Outlaws.
Nice return there for the Outlaws. 21-yard return, and we're ready to have their first offensive snap of the night for the Outlaws, wearing their black pants with their blue jerseys. The numbers are black outlined in white with their patented Outlaw gray helmets. They got a good-looking color scheme. And for the Spartans, they always look the part. Cody mentioned that they have a fierce front 4. They are very stout up front, difficult to run on, and they get after the quarterback as well. But for the Spartans tonight, again, entry play with a record of 3-0. They've got those Golden Domer-type helmets on. They are looking the part as well. The metallic gold jerseys with white pants with a metallic gold stripe as we're ready to throw the football. This is Rico to the air. Deep ball near sideline. And good spin on that football from Rico McNeil. Intended target was Antoine Jackson. And for Jackson, he is one of those guys they like to get the football to early and often.
100%. And you just saw what McNeil brings to the table. Comfortable in between the tackles in the pocket there. Drops an absolute dime there. Outside, kind of a 2-deep shell look. Corner sticking low, short, under to the flat. Safety rovering over to the top. Puts it on a dime, just can't bring it in. But once again, we didn't get to see Rico for 4 quarters last week. He was ejected with that targeting. And some said it was a pretty questionable targeting call. I'm excited to hopefully get a 4 quarters of Rico McNeil here because this guy can sling it.
He really can. He wears number 0. He'll line up in the shotgun formation, 2-by-2 with the wide receiver package. They run a jet sweep. It's now a double reverse in the backfield, nearly competent at his Storm Sealy to the edge, and he'll get to the numbers, and that is it. because that is where the Spartans defense will swarm to the football. Making the hit on the play is Deuces, number 22, Devontae Allen, a safety, coming from the secondary up to run support right there, and he just snuffed out the jet sweep, and he was able to take Sealy out for a huge loss.
Yeah, I mean, just keeping contained, and that's something we saw last week where both defenses weren't able to keep contained. The Arizona Spartans are undefeated for a reason here. They play tremendous team defense, and they're getting off the field here early in the first quarter on that first drive.
They've got some playmakers back deep here to receive this punt. Billy Sewing Jr. is one of those guys, and then number 11, Terrell Flanagan, back deep. Punt formation here for the Outlaws. This kick is high, it's deep, it's end over end. Penalty markers all over the place, and the ball is going to be touched down around the 42-yard line. With the hustle play for the Outlaws, that is Jordan Brown. And now, Cody, let's see what the penalty are all about here. We saw a bunch of those last week. It was a penalty-marred game, and towards the second half, they started to clean things up, but it took a while for them to get in their comfort zone, at least playing this game penalty-free.
Well, the first half, it lasted 2 days. They should have paid us for 2 days of broadcast there, Kevin, but here we're going to have a 12 men on the field on the Spartans, and one of those things I want to see in this game, once again, I really do think this is two of the top teams in this league. I would like to see the special teams improve, because last week, how many block kicks and field goals and just mishaps did we see in that game last week?
Yeah, there were several miscues, to say the least. So now the Spartans, after they mark off the penalty, they're going to ask the Outlaws to re-punt. Again, it's Flanagan and Sewing back deep. In punt formation for Phoenix, that is Jacob Reed. Snap is back from the 20. Puts a leg into it, off the side of his foot, and it'll be taken by Flanagan, fumbled by Flanagan, and he gets it back at the 40-yard line. The gunner on that play for the Outlaws, that is Hezekiah Demps-Trennan. And for Demps-Trennan, playing a wide receiver and a cornerback position, but they're on special teams, flying to the football right there, CC.
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, people watching the broadcast might say, hey, man, why is Flanagan just got to let that go? You're going to hear the Peter talk. Means everybody just evacuate near the ball. But Flanagan is one of the most explosive players in this league. He's a Chandler High School product, played at Adams State University and then LA Valley Cottage, and then finished his career at Ottawa. He picks that up. He can make big plays happen every time he touches the football.
Cody, immediately you look at the offensive line for the Spartans, and they are absolutely loaded with size, and they have been able to protect the quarterback thus far. It's Mortensen to take the snaps. They run it right up the middle, and breaking a tackle at the 45 out to the 48-yard line. There's a nifty run on the inside by Scotty Hutchinson. And for Hutchinson, you've seen him all over the Spartans website. He is their playmaker. He is what they call a dude, and it's a great indication for head coach Detrick Howard, for he's able to show some versatility and line guys up at different positions. And Scotty Hutchinson, a complete team player, will do anything he can to help the Spartan teams win. So after an 8-yard gain, they run it again. And it's Scotty Hutchinson one more time. He's close to the line to gain. I think he's got it. He needed 2, and he got 3, and that'll be enough to move the chain. So the ball is right on the midfield line as Hutchinson gets up off the turf, and he gets a couple of head pops right there, a couple of helmet pops from the interior lineman. One of those guys there getting it done was Gabe Flores. We called his name and number a couple times last week. He's just a playmaker, a defensive tackle right there in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, he's splitting double teams consistently. Last week, he did a tremendous job of wreaking havoc in the backfield. And that's what the Outlaws bring to the table. They have one of the best defensive backs in this league, and Dion Hicks out there. He's going to be on an island for most of this game, unless that front seven just absolutely eat up there.
DeAndre Dickerson breaks the huddle. He lines up to the far side of the football field, right on the numbers. Single coverage shadows him. Snap back to Mortensen. Here comes some pressure. He rolls to the near side. Ball is thrown near side, and the ball is incomplete. He wanted Flanagan. The intended target was actually Billy Sewing Jr., a wide receiver. You've got one in Billy Sewing Jr., and then Terrell Flanagan. He's the team leader in touchdown receptions. He wears number 11. But you saw the athleticism again from Mortensen. He's able to get outside the pocket. If that ball's delivered on target, you're going to move the chains right there.
Hey, he's showing his mobility, but huge shout-out to my guy, Jaden Mash. That is a name we called a million times last week. He's the Outlaws outside linebacker, and he sprints He sprints all the way over to the flat, knocking that ball away, creating a pass breakup. Great job by Jaden Mash.
Tony Smith Jr., the center. This is Mortensen to work out of the pistol. They give it to Hutchinson in the backfield, and he's going to get drilled for a loss. You talk about shooting the gap right there. Excellent team defense. Two guys there making things difficult. One was Rafael Flores. Again, a guy that we mentioned and highlighted a couple times last week. Is right on point once again as he starts this game off, getting in the backfield, wreaking havoc.
Splits the double, great swim move, active feet on contact, runs through the tackle. That is what we like to call a textbook play by a defensive tackle, making the tackle for loss.
And credit double eights, Zachary Salzman. He was also there. Give him an assist. Nice defensive play by the Outlaws. We'll talk a lot about the Spartans defense, but the Outlaw defense, these guys are ornery, and they like to get after the quarterback as well. From the pocket, over the middle field, ball is nearly intercepted. That ball was batted down by the Outlaw defensive back, John Lewis. Intended target, running a slant on the far side, kind of a deeper slant, more of a post pattern, but that was Terrell Flanagan. And the quarterback, Jake Mortensen, had some time and just misfired right there, so he's 0 for 2, but you got to credit the defensive back, John Lewis. Darn near interception right there in the first takeaway of the game.
Well, Kevin, clean pocket for Mortensen. He's able to step up, but really give credit to John Lewis here because he's reading the quarterback's eyes. He has a short route in front of him. He does not jump the short route. He plays the quarterback's eyes, drops in right into that zone area. He finds the soft zone, breaks up the third down pass. Probably could have had a pick, but breaks down the third down pass, and the Outlaws will get the ball back.
Mortensen had a little velocity on that throw. That might have been part of the reason there. This is Hutchinson. Sends this one high into that night sky. Great punt. And this ball is going to carry him inside the 20-yard line. And neither Jordan Brown or Ben Williams will be able to return this football. And you got to like the idea of Detrick Howard, just the special teams concept to just kick away from those two playmakers and let your defense make some plays.
Hey, kickers are people's too, right? That's a great punt right there, a little angled left kick, and inside the 20 here are where the Outlaws are going to stay. So far, Kevin, defensive battle in these first two possessions. That's kind of what I was going to guess between these two teams. And I'm excited for this action because I'm a big defensive guy.
Both guys have great size up front. How about Derek McClure? He's one of those guys up front for the Outlaws. He wears number 78, and he is a load. So they'll go back to the big fellow. Rico McNeil works out of a pistol. 3 wide receivers to the near side. They run it up the middle. And there is nothing doing at all as the Spartans were just stout to the middle there, gang tackling on the ball carrier. And that time it was our guy Booby, and there was very little running room there at all. No push off that offensive line. It was just the defensive front getting in that backfield and making it difficult. It was 3 guys up front credited for that tackle, led by, I believe, number 99, and that was Raphael Lee. So it'll be a loss of 1, and Rico McNeil will go back to work here. Again, 3 wide receivers to the near side. Snap back, looks this way, fires this way, a little bubble screen, and ball is caught around the 15-yard line. Taking it out to the 20 was the Outlaws tailback. That's William Craglow, and Craglow will pick up about 6 yards, and that is it. Good secondary support there to read and react on that bubble screen.
Yeah, and if the Spartans stay in that defensive formation there, Kevin, the Outlaws are going to have that bubble screen all day. They have a 3-by-1 set, trips left, and they have the numbers there. They have 3 receivers to 2 defensive backs that were playing either up and press or 5 yards back. They have their safety, who's pretty much defensive back 3 there in the trips, playing 12 yards off the ball. That screen will be there, but the Spartans rally. The Spartans defense, they rally, and they play fundamental football.
And they seem to play better when their backs are up against the wall. That's how they responded last week. Daedric Miranda, the cornerback, involved in that last sequence. 6:34 to go, opening quarter, no score. McNeil from the pocket. He fires outside. The ball is going to be caught, and taking the ball past the line to gain with a first down catch is the big fella. That is going to be their tight end. That's the Outlaws tight end, Zachary Salzman. It looks like he was over there to make the play. Or if you look again, and you can take a little bit away from the 8, make it a 6. That's Jamel Ward. Jamel Ward lines up at the tight end spot. He also will line up at a slot position. But how about the throw there for Rico McNeil, right on the edge, but it was the rack, right? It was the run after the catch.
It was a 3rd and 8 play. They go trips, bunch right. They just a leak out arrow, and the Spartans did not have a flat defender there. The flat defender was the outside backer who got naturally picked just from that formation. Good read by Rico McNeil, taking what the defense gives them, and the very first down pickup of the game.
A 12-yard pickup for Jamel Ward. 1st and 10 from the Outlaw 30-yard line. 4 down linemen here for the Arizona Spartans as they show blitz. They back out of it. They run it to Booby. They go to the tailback. He is strung out. Another huge loss there. And you got guys coming from all angles, but darting to the football for the Spartans was Q Johnson, was one of those guys there, as well as Antonio Smothers. And you just love the name. Smothers, a defensive lineman. He does a lot of that. He just smothers the opposition.
Kevin, I was listening.
Too easy.
I was listening to the commission show last night, and they said Antonio Smothers is a dude. Westwood High School and University of Arizona product. He works at Enterprise now, 6'2", 265-pound defensive end. But I heard he is the guy, an absolute monster on that defensive line for the Arizona Spartans.
So what you're saying is if I need a rental car, Antonio Smothers is my guy.
He is your guy.
He's got us taken care of. 2nd down and a country mile. We'll call it 2nd and 15 from the 25. McNeil from the pocket. Jump pass, far sideline. The ball is picked off. It's intercepted by the Spartans defensive back. Tremendous play by Sparty. That was Darius Glover, the one-time product of the Skyline Coyotes right there, and he is soon to be an Ottawa Spirit. But Darius Glover rising up, high-pointing that as a defensive back and just picked that ball off. That was a really stellar defensive play there by DG, Darius Glover.
Hey, let's rock, Kevin, because that's East Mesa representing right here. Skyline High School product, Darius Glover playing that too-high shell, reads the quarterback eyes, and robs number 1, going up high and getting that pass at his highest point, coming down for the interception, and the Arizona Spartans start with great field position here.
First takeaway of the game for the Spartans. They get the ball back in the hands of Jake Mortensen. He'll work in an empty set, 5 wide receiver package, 3 to the near side. From the pocket, pump fake, steps in, wants to roll out, throws the deep ball on the near sideline. The ball's going to be in and out of the hands of the intended wide receiver. Oh, my. Tough break right there for the Spartans, but a wide open receiver. That was LaRue Burley. And all LaRue had to do is just catch that football out front. He chose the latter route, let it come inside towards his gut, and he was unable to secure that football. But a great throw by Mortensen on the run.
Kevin, let's see if this is a theme for today's game, because last week, what killed the Outlaws' defense? Giving up contain up front. The quarterback last week, KP, was able to escape the pocket numerous times, allowing his receivers maximizing that position to get open. That's exactly what happened there. And Jake Morrison's another mobile quarterback. He could shred the Outlaws defense by mobilizing out of the pocket.
He can. They set up a screen. They dump it off in the flat to the backfield. This is Burley, and Burley makes the catch as he tries to get to the edge, turns up the sideline, and is going to be slammed out of bounds for the Outlaws. Coming in there playing a little bit rough was Daryl Johnson Jr., the defensive back. I think they might get him for an unsportsmanlike penalty there, as perhaps he got a little bit of that face mask.
Yeah, I love the juke move, though. Great juke move there by LaRue Burley. Just getting outside, quick in and out, and it looks like he's going to tack on another 15.
How about the idea that Burley dropped the wide open reception and they just go right back to him? I love the confidence that they instill in the individuals here on this team, again, led by Detrick Howard. Offensive coordinator is Aaron Wilkins. It's the Spartans and the Outlaws. A good one here. No score opening quarter, 3:34 remaining as the Spartans work left to right. They've got the football on the 49-yard line, and they'll have trips to the near side and a 4-wide receiver package. Snap back. It's a high snap, and it's going to be a design run. Mortensen to the 45-40, breaks a tackle, and he's going to take the ball all the way down to the 30, we'll call it the 35-yard line with a great spot. And Mortensen, design run right there. He gets outside that pocket and shows you his athleticism. And how about a little speed right there for Morty?
I love that third down call there by Coach Howard. That's the owner of the Spartans, but I love that third down call because we have an RPO, third and short. He keeps it. They also have a trips bunch right there. He could have thrown that to the bubble screen. Calls his own number and gets about a 15-yard gain on third down.
No doubt. Unofficially, I had him for a 16-yard run. They moved the chains. 1st and 10 from the Outlaws' 35-yard line. It's Mortensen at quarterback, wearing the long sleeves underneath his gold jersey. He wears number 12. Snap is back, looking left all the way. Sideline throw. The ball is hanging up there, and the ball's going to be picked off. It's intercepted on the far side. Once again there for the Phoenix Outlaws, that was, it looked like it was Carl Evans that picked that ball off. Slightly underthrown there, Cody.
Yeah, a little bit overflown, and once again, it's the safety coming over and robbing number 1 there. It was a good look. Initially, one-on-one there. He just got to put a little bit more air into it, and it was number 26, Carl Evans, zooming over there to rob number 1 receiver, and we have back-to-back interceptions here in the first quarter.
Something that we have seen the last couple of weeks, Cody, is just really great secondary support. These guys are coming in from all different angles, and they're able to provide run support. And then there you saw a great takeaway. So the turnover battle, even at a piece, 1 apiece here, 2:22 to go in our first quarter. So the big fella, Rico McNeil, right back there on the field, works out of the pistol formation. They run a handoff right up the middle, and picking up a couple yards and then getting stood up is going to be a new ball carrier. That is Sanders, Teron Swag Sanders. Anytime you have the name Swag in your nickname that's printed, Cody, you know you got to have some game.
Absolutely, and that's the big number 99, Rafael Lee, wrapping up with 2 hands, driving his feet, and making that tackle for a short gain there. But big 99, Rafael Lee, is another player on that front defensive line for the Arizona Spartans. Just an absolute plugger there.
Shooting the gap, absolutely. Just got away from the offensive lineman and broke containment, and then went in there on the attack and had a big TFL right there, a 2-yard loss for, and now there's a snap. A snap is back. The football is loose, and the ball is still loose as they look for the ball, and recovering the football in the end zone are the Spartans. It's a touchdown for the Spartans, a defensive touchdown. The snap was a bad snap, or let's put it this way, Rico McNeil was not expecting the snap. It went past the tailback, I believe that was Sanders, and then the football was recovered in the end zone. If I had to venture a guess, I'd say that was Deuce's Devontae Allen, the safety again. How in the world did that safety get in the backfield, let alone recover the touchdown? Remarkable play again, running a long way to make that play, Devontae Allen.
Miscues for the Outlaws. This is exactly what happened last week, where the defense would save them multiple times, and the offense would shoot themselves in the foot there. It's a big first defensive touchdown for the Spartans, and just kind of shows you the ferociousness of this defense. Already 2 takeaways in the first quarter.
That one was huge. It was a costly mishap there for the Phoenix Outlaws. So an ill-timed snap. It's 6-0, Sparty, 1:20 to go. Here comes their place kicker, Chris Noble. He's a left-footed kicker. His snap is down. The kick is on the way, and the kick is right down the middle. 1:20 to go in our opening quarter. It's 7-0 Spartans, and they are doing their best to kick this game off with the right way. Again, Cody just mentioned 2 takeaways. They're up 7-0, and they're also 3-0 in the AZCFL.
Yeah, and if you look at the Outlaws here, they're just losing first down. I mean, this is a team that wants to set up the run game. When you have running backs like Ben Williams and Booby Conley, you want to get those guys going. The thing about the Spartans, though, they got 7 players coming downhill in that front 7, and they are stuffing them, usually for tackles for loss, putting the Outlaws in these deep situations. But obviously, miscues like that, you cannot have that, and that is a recipe of disaster. You are not going to beat undefeated teams playing football like that.
Cody, so many times when I get ready to broadcast a basketball game for Arizona Christian, by the way, ACU, number 1 seed there in the Final Four for the first time in the program's history. But I always talk to the coaches, and I ask the coaches, give me 3 in the key. Give me some things that will help you guys be successful tonight. And almost ultimately every time they always say, we've got to take care of the ball, right? So value the rock. That is what the Outlaws need to do. Going back to last week, I could say unofficially 6 turnovers. They've just got to clean those little things up, and this is a winning football team. So it's Noble to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Here's Williams, and all kinds of penalty markers come in. Great officiating. As you can see, flags fly in from all angles here. And we get more whistles blowing. So it was the Outlaws on their return. That was Carl Evans Jr. It is interesting when we talk about Ben Williams and the usage of Ben. I don't even know that we have called Ben's number yet here tonight. But again, from 1 week to the next, it's all about the health, and you don't necessarily know who's going to show up from 1 week to the next.
No, 100%. And also, I mean, we saw Ben Williams return 4 or 5 kicks last week, and he averaged about 35 to 40 yards per kick return. And so we'll see that usage throughout here. Carl Evans is pretty much the guy right now in that backfield. Kevin, I do want to note here, before we take a quarter break, we've got a minute 12 left. We got 85 live viewers on this stream right now. That's tremendous. I think last week we hit about 120. I want you guys to comment everything, because we had a ton of fanfare, people ripping on us last week. I loved it. You know, give us some comments and let us know where you're watching from. And I think I made a comment earlier. These are 2 of the top teams in this league. I'm already getting a bunch of backlash. I love that, man. Tell me where I'm wrong, because I know we got a bunch of players in here watching.
For Ben Williams for the Outlaws last week, 6 totes, 120 yards with a touchdown. That one touchdown went for 73 yards. We know he's a playmaker. He'll have his work cut out for him here, but it's the Spartan defense that's standing tall right now. So we go back to the Outlaws offense. It's Rico McNeil once again. He works out of the pistol. Snap back, play fake, ball near side. That's Seeley. Makes a nice little move. Bends it up around the 15-yard line, takes it to the 20. Ball loose again, and the Spartans are going to say they've got the rock, but Seeley says, I was down. So a nice tempo there on the pass from McNeil to Seeley, but it was the move by Seeley to literally wiggle around the defense and pick up the extra yardage. He turned arguably a play that could have been a loss into a 7-8 yard gain.
And offensively, what do you do when you got 7 or 8 guys in the box and you're going up against that? All those players coming downhill, quick RPO screen. That's exactly what they did. Now they're in a second and manageable.
By the way, let us know where you're watching tonight's game from. We certainly appreciate our global viewing audience watching tonight's game on the CMX network. Snap back for McNeil. Winds up, fires right side. Ball's in and out of the hands of his intended target. That's Seeley once again. But you had 2 defensive backs right there applying and delivering punishment out of the secondary. And one of those guys there leading the charge was 2-1. That is Andre Goodman. And that was a really good play for Mr. Goodman.
All right, Kevin, I'm a former defensive back. He's sitting in cloud coverage here. Let's go of the 9 round ahead of him. He's got the inside slot out route, and Andre Goodman lays the wood. Great hit right in the back of the wide receiver, breaking up that pass. We got a big 3rd down here.
You got to like that ferocity and the intensity they're playing with. Our first quarter is ancient history here at Bellbank Park in Mesa, Arizona at the Legacy Sports Complex. We will take a quick break. More football coming up right after this. Spartans lead it 7-0 over the Outlaws. Welcome back to Bellbank Park as the Outlaws begin quarter number 2, trailing 7-0. Kevin Derryberry alongside Cody Cameron. Glad you're going to be part of our broadcast tonight. It's the game of the week, the Outlaws and the Arizona Spartans on the CMX network. Special thank you to Zach Alvira, our statistician. Appreciate the information that we're getting from Zach. Good first quarter here. These 2 teams, in fact, all the teams, the 8 teams that we have seen in this league, there is a little nastiness that comes about every Saturday night, Cody.
Hey, these guys get after it. You can tell just the passion on the field, man. These guys want to win. You know, there's competitors out here. Love to see it.
Snap back to McNeil. Steps through the pressure, spins out of a tackle, and here comes the gold rush of the Arizona Spartans as McNeil goes down. The big fella, number 99, Rafael Lee, one of those guys there. But we've seen the quarterback, Rico McNeil. He's kind of nimble on his feet, Cody. He really is.
Hey, big shout out to Rico McNeil there with the spin move like he's 180 pounds, man. Could you imagine being a defensive back coming up for run force? You see big Rico McNeil squaring his shoulders about to truck over you. That's a business decision.
It is.
He's free safeties. Hey, showing the nimbleness, showing the dual threat ability. Rico McNeil picking up 5 on that first down.
Fantastic play to make something out of nothing for the Outlaws. Breaking the huddle. That is, we need one of their wide receivers, 83. We'll continue to seek that out. There goes Seeley in motion. Delay. They run it to the left side, and a little stutter step that make a move to cut it back inside is the tailback, and there he is. His first carry of the night for Ben Williams.
I got to give credit to the Spartans here, opening up the playbook a bit. So, the Spartans going 7-8-man box here, destroying them on first and second down with a lot of those carries. Opening up, you saw the RPO quick screen. Then you saw delayed draws, getting those inside backers to drop into their pass coverage, not always filling A and B gaps, opening up a little run spaces. Also, Kevin, I got to say, we got multiple people watching here. Jim Bond from his couch, Mary Delora from Avondale.
Hey, Mary.
Sherry Upshaw, who I'm guessing is the mother of I know there's an Upshaw here. Christian Upshaw could be the mother here, and she's watching from Wisconsin.
Hey, Sherry, what's going on? McNeil under pressure. He throws over the middle of the field. The ball's going to be incomplete. He wanted the wide receiver. That was Swag Sanders. He lost his footing. We've seen that a couple times here in the first 3 weeks. As the night goes on here, things get a little slick as the moisture starts to develop throughout the night evening. But that was a broken up and an incomplete play. So now we'll be faced with a 3rd down and long here for the Outlaws. They're trying to get their second first down of the evening. They trail it 7-0. And now let's see what the penalty will do for the Outlaws. And I believe this penalty is going to send them the other direction, and that them is the Spartans. So a big unsportsmanlike foul called here, and the Outlaws are going to get the benefit of at least 15 yards. And we had some fun last week going back and forth on the yardage and the length of the penalties. We weren't sure. There might have been a couple double fouls that we saw last week because we saw the ball move at a 30-yard clip at one point.
Kevin, we'd for sure had 2 30-plus yard penalties, back-to-back penalties. But here we go for the Outlaws. Their very first time here in Spartans territory.
From the 48 of the Spartans, long count for McNeil. Rolls on the near side, throws on the run. The ball is incomplete. Ball was intended for Jacob Reed. Strong coverage right on the edge. He had a couple guys in the vicinity. One of those young men defensively for the Spartans was Daedric Miranda, and also there lurking was Devontae Allen. And why wouldn't Devontae be around the football? That's just where he always is. Devontae Allen is designed to go straight for the football.
Yeah, and we've seen some great play from the defensive back so far for the Spartans. Once again, Miranda, he's hip-to-hip coverage there on that curl comeback route and creating the pass breakup.
Lining up near side for the Outlaws, one of their playmakers, Antoine Jackson. Out of the pistol, they run it to Williams, and he has a big hole going straight ahead right up the middle as he bulldozers a couple of defenders, and he's got the first down. And that young man right there is Ben Williams. You could just see why he is so electric, and he's a home run threat. He's a one-touch back, Cody. You give him a chance at the football, and he literally can break it on each and every play.
And this is why I think the Outlaws offensively are dangerous. They got a great 1-2 punch with Ben Williams and number 6, Booby Conley. Right there, Ben Williams shows his explosiveness. He's saying, hey, I'm not the biggest back on the team, but I can run between the tackles too. And we saw that last week with that 72-yard touchdown right up the gut. He just blew past every single player on that Canes team for the touchdown. He is a home run threat every time he touches the rock.
He may not be the biggest. He's certainly the fastest. He's got the quickest feet. His first step is almost unconscious the way he is able to move around. How about the left side of that line? The left tackle, Derek McClure, looks like he's about 6'5", 320 pounds. You need some road graders up front, Cody, and that's all part of it.
Especially the style they want. Like I said, they want to establish a run game. This isn't a team that wants to throw the ball 25, 30 times. They have those backs. They want to utilize them. Kevin, I'm going to head to the chat here. We got Tanner Swinger, who is a tight end for the Canes. He caught one of those go-ahead touchdowns last week.
Yes,
that
he did.
is a great tight end here in this league. We got Marina Charles watching from Scottsdale. Got a couple guys talking about coming out of retirement. Shout out to you, Nick. Coletta Wackemeyer is watching from San Antonio. She says, thank you guys for streaming. Love watching my kid play number 89 on the Spartans.
Gotta like it. 8-9 on the Spartans. That is Jaden Wackemeyer. Pass out to the top of your screen. Making the reception is Seeley. That's his third catch of the game. He wears number 3. He was targeted 4 times already here. And that's the coach's son as he makes the play. And not only does he make the catch, but he's able to turn up the field, pick up extra yardage, and gain the first down. First and 10 from the 35-yard line.
Got to give the first down shout out to the stock block, the kick-out block, the slot receiver, Azure McMillan. Outside stock and pushing out the force player, creating that hole. Azure McMillan's a player who we saw make numerous plays last week, getting it done blocking.
McMillan, 2 touchdown receptions last week. He was a dynamic playmaker, and he shows you his versatility here as he's blocking down the field. Ultimate team game. Tackle football is it. McNeil from the pocket. Well, we're going to get a flag here. This was a 4 wide receiver package here for the Outlaws. As soon as we learn our officiating crew, we'll share that with you. It's another outstanding crew. 7-0 Spartans. 10-11 to go to the intermission on the AZFL game of the week. You're watching tonight's game on the CMX network.
Interesting first quarter stat here, Kevin. The Spartans offensively, negative 10 yards rushing in that first quarter. A team that likes to run the football and has weapons in the backfield held the negative 10 yards on the ground in that first quarter. That's obviously changed with a couple big first down pickups, but that is a big credit to that Spartans front 7.
McNeil, first quarter, 3 of 6, 22 yards and an interception. And as you mentioned, the negative 10 yards rushing, that was before the last 11-yard run there by Benny Williams. Snap back to McNeil, steps through the pocket, winds up, throws a deep ball over the middle of the field. The ball's in and out of the hands of the wide receiver, Seeley. And you talk about a little sizzle on that throw. How about McNeil as he stepped through the defensive pressure, planted his feet, and threw a strike down the middle of the field. I believe that ball should have been caught. Mr. Seeley probably tell you the same thing.
Both edge rushers collapsing the end there. McNeil does a great job of stepping up. Not only stepping up, Kevin, keeping his eyes downfield, deep inside route, about 20 yards downfield, throws an absolute bullet right through the chest of receiver. If you're a receiver, you got to make that catch. Make a play for your offense there, just did not get it done.
And how about if he catches that ball in stride, he could have taken that to the near pylon. That could very well have been a touchdown. They left that play on the field, no doubt about it. 8:43 to go in this second quarter. Breaking the huddle and lining up to the near side is Jacob Reed. Play fake for McNeil. Sets up a screen to Seeley, and there is nothing doing that time. Correction, intended target for the Outlaws on that particular play was the man we just mentioned, the before mentioned, Ashur McMillan. About time to get Ashur involved, knowing what kind of playmaker he is. He is a guy that runs very precise routes, but his routes are designed to go to the end zone.
And here's going to make Mama Upshaw happy here, because Christian Upshaw, great read on that. Defensive lineman reads that quick screen, turns, pivots, and sprints to break up that pass, colliding with the receiver, breaking it up. Great play.
3rd down and 15 for McNeil and company. Works out of the pistol. 3 wide receivers to the Y side. Snap back. McNeil, deep ball, far sideline, and the ball is going to be caught inside the 10-yard line. Making the catch is Ashur McMillan. And that is a big-time play as he, too, high-pointed that ball with contest, with all kinds of coverage draped over him. And it was the placement of that football by McNeil. Another precision pass there by the big fella.
And we just highlighted it there, Kevin. Your receiver, make a play for McNeil. He is dropping dimes out there. Could not throw a better ball right over the head of the defender in a cover 1 face guard cover one defense there. And McMillan with one heck of a catch, and the Outlaws are in business.
Assure a gain of 33 yards, 1st and goal to go. Rico McNeil and company. They run it to Williams, breaks a tackle, bounces it to the outside. He gets blown up around the 2-yard line, but it was that burst of speed to allow him to get to the edge and then turn the corner. And that was a touchdown-saving tackle right there at the 2-yard line there by the team wearing gold. That is the Arizona Spartans. And great pressure. But how about the turn and the speed by Ben Williams? He is able to turn on the Jets like that, gives him, again, himself a chance.
And it looked like he was going to get tackled for about 2-yard loss there, Kevin. He was able to bounce off the first defender, get to the edge, and pick up 8. Now they're bringing in a jumbo package here for the Outlaws, it looks like, bringing in some beef.
This is when we usually see Booby right about now,
Yep.
right?
Yes, sir. I mean, we don't have measurables on these rosters. Booby Conley, probably, I would guess, 230, 235, but he is a bulldozer. We saw a couple plays last week where he took screens and went 40 to 50 yards.
So it's Ben Williams. He's the deep back in a power set. Snap back, they give it to Williams, and Williams is going to be grabbed in the backfield and thrown down. Nifty play there by Sparty. That was Antonio Smothers once again as he was able to read the snap count, get in the backfield, and that's not easy to take down the very shifty Ben Williams in the backfield, and he did it with ease. Just gliding into that play, took him out, and took him down.
The former Pac-12 product, Antonio Smothers, living up to his name. That is now 2 or 3 tackles for loss in this game, and we're only in the first half. 6 minutes left still in the second quarter.
Gotta like the pace thus far. They take a timeout on the field. If you've never been out to the Legacy Sports Complex, it is a sight to behold. It is a gorgeous setup, whether you like soccer or pickleball, or you just like tackle football or softball or baseball. They've got everything here. They've got one of the largest sports bars in the Southwest right here. The GOAT, they call it. Anytime you put that kind of acronym on the name of your business, it's got to be pretty impressive, right? The greatest of all time, huh?
Kevin, I ate here before the game, $14 burger, bunch of fried onions, onion rings on the burger. It was legit. Everybody, I'd advise it, right here about at 5 o'clock.
McNeil to throw, outside, ball caught, turn it in, and score a touchdown for the Outlaws. McNeil to the big fella, Jacob Reed, and the Outlaws are on the scoreboard with a touchdown pass.
So the Outlaws bring in this jumbo package. They utilized it the play before there in kind of the 3-back set here. Play action pass. Jake Reed leaks out in the arrow. Inside backer, outside backer, not able to get the flat quick enough. McNeil puts it right on him. Great play call and a touchdown for the Outlaws.
Gotta like the throw. Again, picture perfect throw right there. Only where the big fella Reed would have made that catch. And he looked like he's been in the end zone before. He looks like he's been making plays like that his entire life. Outstanding play. Great throw and catch. Point after try upcoming. The snap is back. Rough hold. Here comes the rush. And there will be nothing doing for the big fella. The holder got ambushed in the backfield. That is Jamel Ward. And let's be honest, that was a rough snap. It took a couple of bounces, and Ward did all he could to try to put that thing down and give his kicker a chance, but that special teams rush up front just too much.
Kevin, at what point are the Outlaws just going to say, screw the PATs, we're going for 2 every time? So last week we had 2 missed PATs,
right,
and a block PAT that was returned to the house for the 2-point conversion by the Canes. They've had 3 or 4 missed blunders. They had the punt last week also go through the end zone. So at what point here are we just going to start seeing the 2-point conversion? Because it'd probably be the next time around.
Agree 100%. Cactus Fuel, refueling tomorrow's athlete, official hydration drink of the Arizona Cactus Football League. Vegan and gluten-free, low sugar and low carbs. Visit them at cactusfueldrinks.com and get our fuel today. 7-6 ball game. I agree 100%. Too many mishaps, too many miscues for the Outlaws. They just got to snap the football and run downhill with it. Give Williams a chance. Throw the ball in the end zone to Reed. You've got Assure out there. He is as good as anybody. McMillan is a playmaker. Totally agree, Cody. You got to start giving these guys a chance and just abort the kicking game until you can get that worked out during the week of practice. on the return. 25, 30, splits the defenders, 35, 40, 45, 50. All by himself. There he goes for the Spartans. Outside, DeAndre Dickerson Jr. inside the 20-yard line, and he's finally going to be caught from behind by the Outlaws. Mouthpieces are flying all over the place. Flags are flying everywhere. Some guys are losing parts of their uniform. And another big collision on the far side of the field. But I tell you what, you get this young man, Dickerson Jr., in space, another guy on Sparty's football team that can make plays.
Return left there for the special teams. Goes left, cuts against the grain. Over pursue from the Outlaws on the kick team, and he shows his speed. Also one of the best names that I've read, DeAndre Dickerson Jr. I mean, big-time return, big-time name, and a big-time play. And it looks like we might get, either a face mask or a late hit down there. But either way, Spartans with phenomenal territory here. And if they score right before half, I believe they get the ball. Do we remember that? Or is our memory good enough to remember who got the opening kickoff?
Who got the opening kickoff here? And typically, I'd say 9 out of 10 times we should get that. I do believe that that Sparty began the game with the football, because one of the big questions we had was who was going to be the quarterback, whether it be Jake Mortensen or would it be Scotty Hutchinson? Well, we've seen that it was Morty. So here come the Spartans, clad in their white pants with their gold pinstripe and their metallic gold uniforms and their metallic and black hats. It's Hutchinson trying to make the first man miss and then nothing doing. Again, for the Outlaws, shooting the gap with Zachary Salzman. And it's almost like he had the snap count, Cody, because he was in that backfield in a hurry.
Yeah, we haven't seen much from the Spartans' run game here. They honestly haven't had the ball very much in this football game here, Kevin. But second 11, also, they have really good receivers. I mean, tremendous receivers out here. But once again, we spotlighted them multiple times. That Outlaws front seven, just like the Spartans, they get after it. They're mean and nasty.
Is time of possession a meaningless stat in football, or do you think it has a ton of merit to it?
No, completely. I mean, that's why you see the run game and teams at every level dominate football games when they dominate the time of possession.
Yeah, I like the idea. Mortensen play fake from the pocket, steps through again. Now he's going to scramble, stiffs arm to tackle, and they'll finally get to the edge. He'll take it inside the 30-yard line all the way down to the 29. A scramble of about 8 yards there, but I really like Mortensen running with the football. He shows you those long strides. He's tough to bring down, and when you see your quarterback putting a stiff arm out there, you know that he wants to play tackle football.
And that's what we highlighted in last week's game where Canes quarterback Cordell Provtree, the KP, who's ironically in the comments section right now in this game here on the Facebook Live commenting, that's what he was able to utilize. He was able to escape the pocket. The Outlaws did not do a good job of containing him. And just like KP, that's what Mortensen's going to take advantage of.
Hard count used here, and everybody's offside. How about the game-winning touchdown there by KP Provci last week, punching it in from the left side in this north end zone. It was a game-winning touchdown plunge, and the rest is history. But it's good to see KP joining the broadcast one way or the other. We'll run into KP and his team here again very soon. This is the game of the week.
So I'm getting a lot of comments right now saying we got Canes, Spartans, Rebels as top three. So that Outlaws comment I made of them potentially being one of the top teams in this league, I guess, is very, very wrong. But Kevin, we've done 2 of their games, and they've been, neck and neck with some of the top teams now. Those are 2 of the top 3 teams. This 7-6 ball game here at the half.
Well, let's be honest, Cody. It's one less mistake, and they might have a win here, right? Mortensen, low snap, dumps out in the flat, caught by Hutchinson at the 25, makes a move at the 20, still on his feet. They're going to slam him down to the ground back near the 21-yard line, but another impressive move by the big fella, Scotty Hutchinson. And it's interesting to see that young man show all the wiggle. He can, for a big guy as thick as he is, he's got some moves, and we just saw one right there.
Yeah, my guy Tyson Muse, he looked like he pulled his quad and his hamstring trying to make that tackle. The big number 50 for the Outlaws, he's checking out right here after the Spartans guy put a move on him. We're going to see what this penalty is, but I think by the spot of the ball, it would be a first down. This might go against the defense already, so we're going to have a first down for the Spartans.
Billy Sewing Jr. checking into this football game. Lining up to the near side with single coverage is DeAndre Dickerson Jr. He set this all up with a 72-yard kick return. And now working right to left It's Jake Mortensen and the Arizona Spartans. Hutchinson is next to him. Mortensen from the pocket. Dumps it off in the flat to Hutchinson at the 20, 15, 10, makes a move, and he'll take it inside the 5-yard line. How about tight-roping the sideline there by Scotty Hutchinson? Shows you just, again, that footwork that he has. He's so nimble as he did the toe dance on the near sideline.
Kevin, he is putting defenders on ice skates right now. Just a little trickle in and out right near the sideline, putting a guy flat on his butt with the juke move. And the Spartans are in good territory here and chewing up clock as we near the end of the first half.
Some of the defense kind of showing up looking like those fidget spinners where they're just all over the place there. But Scotty Hutchinson will do that to you. He's got that kind of offensive game. Trips to the far side of the field. Mortensen has Hutchinson flanked to his left. Dickerson to the near side. They give it to Hutchinson. He lowers the shoulders, and the Outlaw defense is just going to stand him up and shove him down to the turf.
And this is what makes the Outlaws tough here, running down inside the 5 when they got a bunch of defensive linemen who are just pluggers. And, we spotlighted them earlier in the broadcast. They have defensive players, both the Floreses, that just eat up double teams. It makes it tough here. Watch for a play action, maybe an RPO play. This is exactly what I would do here. I would go a trips bunch, maybe an RPO like they did earlier in the game. Maybe a quick bubble. Get those guys, get the athletes the ball in space.
Give Johnny Grant a TFL along with Eric Sipes from the 7-yard line. It's
Kevin, I think that's what they're going to do out there. They ran this formation and that 3rd and 1 in the first quarter. They go trips bunch right. They go RPO action there because they already have the numbers against that defensive end, and they let Mortensen call his own number here. Let's see if they come back in that same formation after the timeout.
Cody, we have reached the 2-minute warning. It's a 7-6 ball game, and the Spartans are on the march here, knocking on the door as they have the ball just outside the green zone. We'll see it's at the 7-yard line. Cactus Media X, the AZCFL's official network. Podcast, media marketing, live stream, and everything media related. CMX produces all the Cactus Football League programs and weekly Game of the Weeks streamed on all their outlets. Find them on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So here we go. 2 minutes on the Long Gym scoreboard. Spartans working towards the north end zone here at Bellbank Park. We're at the Legacy Sports Complex in Mesa, Arizona. Kevin Derryberry alongside Cody Cameron. Mortensen back to throw. Pass to the flat, to the edge, to the pylon. Touchdown, Spartans. Billy Sewing Jr. on the receiving end of that touchdown pass from Jake Mortensen. And for Mortensen, his 9th touchdown pass of the season. And you get the ball into your playmakers, and Billy Sewing did the rest with speed to the edge and then some toughness as he dove toward the pylon, and he had the want right there.
And, Kevin, they come out in that trips bunch set. They had the numbers 3-by-2 there. The defense did not adjust that way. Good stock blocks, and he gets to the edge, diving for the pylon for the touchdown. And the touchdown celebration, all peace and love, doing the Kyler Murray yoga zen with his teammates in the end zone.
Is that really a Star Wars-based
He
zen?
says it. He says it. He says it's all Yoda.
I think at one point he said it wasn't. He wasn't copying that. But who knows with Kyler Murray?
Kyler
these
says
days.
a lot of things.
He is he's right now in that business mindset. He's trying to, look for another contract. And how about the money that is being doled out around the National Football League?
Hasn't won a playoff game.
No.
Has not won a playoff game. My guy Victor Perry in the comment section right now. I saw you calling that bubble earlier, saying take it, use advantage, use the numbers. And he calls it easy money, and he is right on the money with that comment because that is exactly what they did in Go 6.
For Billy Sewing Jr., the 10th reception of the season, and that is his 4th touchdown reception. That ties teammate Terrell Flanagan. So we go back to the kicking game. The southpaw kicker, the snap is down, the kick is on the way, and the kick is right in between the goalposts. It's good. It's now 14-6. Spartans have the lead here with $1:49 to go.
And it might sound vanilla here, Kevin, but making it an 8-point game is massive. We've seen teams who are successful with their special teams unit in this league are successful. All those botched punts, botched snaps, missed extra points, they come to eat you towards the end
No
of the
doubt
game
about
there.
it. Chris Noble delivered the point after try. We have seen the gaffes of special teams through our almost a month now in the league, and special teams is the one area clearly they don't spend as much time on. It's something that's kind of taken for granted for. But if you play tackle football at the Division I level, at the NAIA level, whether you're playing in the league, you've got to spend the time on special teams. It's imperative because you'll see the results on game day, Cody.
Well, Kevin, we got a little bit more notes here in week 2 of these broadcasts. Half of these guys look like they're in the rental car business. So these guys are working, grinding Monday through Friday. I know inventory levels are at all-time lows at a lot of those rental car places. But we got security. We have people that work at Nikon. Like I said, Enterprise, Hertz. These guys are busy. I don't know how much I do know they practice. Obviously, there's some absolutely talented football players out here, but special teams sometimes can get lost in the mix.
These guys are grading roads. They're laying down asphalt. They're, like you mentioned last week, some of them are digging ditches. They're plumbing, doing all kinds of things. But then they come out here and have that wherewithal to play some tackle football. I'm impressed with the sportsmanship and the fact that these guys want to get after it. So a nice kick there by Noble. It took a long time to decide if that kick was going to be inside that pylon or not. And at the very last second, that kick caroms left at the pylon, and that's going to be a procedure penalty, which means the Outlaws should get some good field position here. And they're down here 14-6. Cody, you kind of already alluded to it there just a moment ago, but with a less than refined special teams, you're going to have to go for 2. They're going to be chasing that point the rest of the evening. We saw it come back to haunt a week ago, and they just don't have the ability to come back and keep spotting these types of the plays. Remember, one of the touchdowns for the Spartans was recovered in the end zone due to a botched snap. They just can ill afford to continue to give away free points.
Well, I believe defensively last week, I think the Outlaws I think they created 3 or 4 turnovers on the defensive side of the ball, so the defense put them in positions to win the game. Just got to execute in all the other fields.
They actually played well enough to win the game, but it was just too many things that went against the grain late in that ball game that were costly. So this penalty will be costly to the Spartans because they had the Outlaws really hemmed in for just a moment. Now they're going to have to re-kick. So they'll move Noble back to the 30-yard line, and that's where the southpaw will go to work here. Back deep for the Outlaws, Carl Evans Jr., along with Ben Williams. If I'm Noble, I'm going to kick it away from Ben Williams. We've echoed that a time or two. Noble from the 30. Left foot's one. It's a pooch down the middle of the field. It'll be Williams at the 27 to the 30, 35, 40, up ahead to the 45-yard line, and he's going to have his feet taken out right there. The lowest one on the pile for the Spartans was Diamond Thompson, the defensive end, wearing number 0, but he was there on a special teams kill, and he was there to make the tackle on Ben Williams. And anytime you can get a hold of Benny in open field like that, you've made a play.
And Ben was running so hard, he ran right through his blocker, ran right in the back of his blocker, just trucking him. But that's his first return of the game. I'd have Ben Williams hopefully try to get every single kick return if I'm the Outlaws. Get your most explosive player the football.
Why not run a reverse to him if it's going to be Evans? Just get Ben Williams more chances. I'm surprised they don't set up a traditional running back screen to Williams. I believe that play could be there if they want to try it.
And they did that with Booby Conley, who's now in the backfield back here. They set that up really well last week. Let's see if that's something to go to.
They
here
did.
With a minute 42 left.
It's definitely in their playbook. Assure McMillan lines up to the outside. Snap back to Rico. Beautiful delivery of the football. Making the catch and then turning up the field is Kai Harris. Harris was banged up last week, but you see what he could do when he's healthy. But the delivery of the football there by Rico McNeil, again, he threw a perfect strike in stride, in rhythm, and Kai Harris was able to make the catch and then turn up the field and get extra yardage.
And they like that. I remember that from last week. They love motioning to trips there. They get the numbers with the 3-by-1 set.
Gain of 7. McNeil back to work. High snap from the pocket. Winds up. D-ball. Far sideline. There's nobody home.
Miscommunication there from the receiver to quarterback.
Assure broke off his route. He turned inside. The ball was delivered outside the numbers and down the sideline. And the only one closest to the football was there for the Spartans, and that was Andre Goodman. and he's already made an interception in tonight's game. 14-6 with 67 seconds left to go. This is the AZCFL Game of the Week featuring the Spartans and the Outlaws. That's going to be part of our Saturday night here in Mesa and our global viewing audience around the country. McNeil to throw again. Fires one near sideline, and the ball is going to be way too tall as there's some post-play John going back and forth. What a matchup right there for the Outlaws. The intended target was Antoine Jackson, and right there in his grill with some conversation is our guy again, D.A. Devontae Allen, who fears nothing.
And that's a 6'3" receiver. Just got to bring the ball down a little bit there. I'm surprised they didn't go back to the motion trip set there because the Spartans were not adjusting with that. They had the 3x2 numbers. I believe we have one of the Canes coaches checking in. James Fisher. Isn't it the Canes head coach?
James Fisher, the longtime offensive line coach for the Millennium Tigers, victorious last week in grand fashion. Yes, James Fisher's team is 3-0 right now in the league.
Says he's checking in from his bed. A little Saturday night action there.
All right. Punt formation here for the Outlaws. Back deep again. They go to Flanagan and Sewing. Punt is in the air. High end-over-end kick. And the ball bounced inside the 30. Take a great care for the Outlaws. And nobody wants anything to do with that football. It will be spotted down around the 14-yard line with the hustle play for the Outlaws. That was Jordan Brown, the strong safety in special teams, getting up there to make a play. You mentioned about the tight end for a team last week. Swanger. He made some big plays.
Yeah, he had that leak out, man. That KP, he extended the play rolling right, escaping the pocket, and Swanger broke off his route, toe tapped the end zone, and that was one heck of a touchdown there.
And he also, a couple of those pop passes that he was very successful with going over the middle of the field.
Yep. I believe the Canes won today as well, so they are officially in the standings, the top team in this Cactus League at 4-0.
39-6 is a waxing.
Let's go.
They put it to him.
Coach Fisher said solid broadcast. Look at that. Hey, that's our first compliment in 2 games, man. We're doing something right now.
Hey, we gotta like it. I think the other people are just bashful, Cody. They just.
I love that though, man. Just you're leaning on stuff. You know, people get too happy. I think it makes us better.
I tell you what, you won't get any better until somebody tells you that you're not any good, right?
You go.
That's part of the facts on that one. All right, here come the Spartans now. They lead it 14-6. 49 seconds to go. They are hemmed in right now on their own 14-yard line. For Mortensen, he's back to throw. Has all kinds of time. Scrambles. Dumps it off to the flat near side 20, 25, 30. Up the sideline 40, 45. And shove that bounce around the 46-yard line. But in a lot of space was their running back. That was Ross Robertson. And you know that when you have all that kind of real estate, there's not anybody near you, and there's a penalty marker on the field, you get a good idea and a bad feeling, that this one is coming back. That would negate a 43-yard pass play to Ross Robertson. And I'll tell you what, the other Robertson, the quarterback in this case for the Spartans, Jake Mortensen, I beg your pardon, Morty, he's got some poise in the pocket, and he likes to go to those secondary guys. He's not afraid to just dump it down and let his other playmakers make a play for him.
Not at all. Just unfortunately, we got dirty laundry there in the backfield from the offensive lineman, but that is big facts. I know my guy who's in here, Victor Perry is just talking about, hey, utilize the slot position. He was talking about for the Outlaws to do that, but same thing here. I mean, these are 2 deep shells. I would like to see some combo routes, maybe some little scissors concept here, but get your athletes the ball in space.
LaRue Burley is one guy in the slot. And there is a pass play. That was
a legal forward pass.
I believe so. Here's Flanagan in space. 50, 40, 30. Tries to make a move. He's finally going to be tackled around the 20-yard line. And I believe that this one's coming back. A penalty marker dropped around the 5-yard line. And I think Cody pointed it out during that run to Flanagan that might be an illegal forward pass. And that would be my guess as well. Because Morty stepped through the pocket, looked like he was going to take off and be a runner, and then just threw a beautiful pass to a wide-open Terrell Flanagan. And Terrell, you saw him, he got space there, and he was able to do some things.
And no matter what, it's great peripheral vision. You know, something I will not have, these eyes. But I believe probably about a yard or two forward there. But Mortensen, once again, showing that dual threat ability, probably could have picked up 15, about 10 yards, probably keeping it with the rock. Goes for the home run. Backward shot, which if it was behind him would have counted. But
And these guys underneath have been, again, making some plays.
Oh, they're saying on the broadcast it looked like it was legal. Got some guys in the comment section saying that looked like it was a backwards pass.
Did Terrell score? We missed that.
Terrell Flanagan? Was he the second touchdown?
I thought it was suing. It could very well have been Flanagan. We'll double check that at the break.
And
a lot of 1s and 11s moving around here in the gold. The lights have taken full effect here at Bellbank Park. We're in Mesa. And now this is the Spartans keeping it on the ground. Just a quick hitter. They go right up the middle to their tailback for the Spartans. That's back to Ross Robertson. And perhaps Coach Howard is okay to let time elapse here in our first half. And that is exactly what's going to happen. We get to the break here at Bellbank Park at the Legacy Sports Complex. Our score, the Arizona Spartans 14, the Phoenix Outlaws 6. This is the AZCFL Game of the Week, brought to you by the CMX Broadcast Network. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside Cody Cameron. Halftime festivities coming up next. Welcome. No, I ain't right. Check, check. Welcome back to Bellbank Park here in Mesa, Arizona at the Legacy Sports Complex. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside Cody Cameron. It is 14-6 Spartans. They have the lead. And let's be honest, Cody, if it wasn't the beneficiary of some more gifts in the end zone, the Spartans are still in a dogfight here. They've got an 8-point lead, but they're in a serious battle here tonight.
Same thing as last week, Kevin, shooting themselves in the foot, whether it be in special teams or the mishandled snap that went for 6 for this Spartans defense. Well, there's one thing that's happening for the Outlaws, though. Their defense is keeping them in the ball game, especially that defensive line that really, heck, the Spartans have not been able to utilize a run game at all in this football game. So that Outlaws defense is doing a tremendous job once again this week. That Spartans defense, though, is legit. We were told before this broadcast that's a very good football team, especially on their front seven, and they are showing out once again here tonight.
For the Outlaws, it's going to be Rafael Flores to kick things off as the ball is located in between the hash marks at the 35-yard line. It's a deep end-over-end kick, taken around the 10, 15, 20, and out across the 25-yard line. Nice return there by the Spartans. That was Dewitt Caswell. Caswell on the return, unofficially a 17-yard return. A couple of things we want to just get you caught up with here. First and foremost, the last touchdown scored by the Arizona Spartans, it was at one point believed it was Billy Sewing Jr. recording that touchdown. In fact, it was the other 11. It was Terrell Flanagan. We had one in Billy Sewing Jr., and where we were set up here, we just missed that from our vantage point. It was Terrell Flanagan that scored the touchdown, his 5th of the season. And that is where we are here as Noble buried the point after the try. So that's where we were at the break, 14-6. The Spartans have the lead, and here we go. They've got the football here to begin this second half. So it was the Outlaws that got the opening kickoff there, Cody. Hopefully we nailed that right during that conversation in that first half. And for the Spartans, very little real estate to work with in this case. Making the reception was LaRue Burley. But the Outlaw defense swarming into football, no gain after the play.
Yeah, it looks like both teams, we'll see both teams utilizing their slot position. Both teams like to be in that trips 3-by-1 set or trips bunch. We had our guy, Victor Perry, in this chat literally saying, utilize the bubble screen. You have the numbers. I've been calling it all broadcast. You got 3-by-2 there. You could have 2 stock blocks, get an inside bubble, get 7 to 10 yards each pass. Let's see if the teams do it here or there by 2-by-2 and pre-formation snap.
It's out there. It's for their taking, no doubt about it. This will be Mortensen on a RPO, and he'll pull it back quickly. He'll take it to the line of scrimmage, and then he gets dropped right there. Leading the way for the Outlaws with that high motor, that was Carl Mons, wearing number 90, a defensive end there. Again, he was right there to the spot and had the takedown.
And number 22 outside linebacker, Jaden Mash, who in 2 games here, Kevin, is turning into one of my favorite outside linebackers in this league. Now, granted, we have covered the Outlaws back-to-back weeks, but this is a sideline-to-sideline playmaker for the Phoenix Outlaws and a great form tackler.
Burley lines up to the slot right. 3rd down and 11. Snap back to Mortensen. Free play for Morty. Steps up in the pocket. Deep ball near sideline, and the ball is going to be caught. Oh, incomplete. That was DeAndre right there on the intended target. It was Dickerson Jr., and everybody was tweeting there, CC, because you had that, do we have a free play or do we blow it dead? And we're going to go to the latter. They blew that one dead, but interesting to see Dickerson react to that football. It looked like he just kind of lunged back for the ball. I'm surprised he didn't literally make a play, slam on the brakes, and come back, catch that ball, and then take it into the end zone.
Yeah, and Mortensen stepped up, but he did have a body in front of him. One of the defensive linemen for the Outlaws got in his face. Definitely affected that throw, but he catches that. That goes for 6.
That's a touchdown. Ross Robertson is flanked to the right of Jake Mortensen, the quarterback. 2 wide receivers to the near side. Mortensen on a slant, ball caught over the middle of the field at the 45-yard line, and turning around and picking up extra yardage on that pass play. There he is. That is Billy Sewing Jr., and every time Billy Sewing Jr. makes a play, he does something special after the fact, and you just saw that little windmill and then the indication, first down for the Spartans.
And nothing special about that route, just given what the defense is giving you there. Finds the soft zone with the inside slant, the front side slant there at the top receiver position, getting the first down.
Gain of 17. Here's Robertson, big hole, running right downhill and running right along the hash marks, taking that ball into the secondary of the Outlaws. Gain of 12 for Ross Robertson. And the momentum for the Spartans here, they have clearly a little mojo as they begin the second half moving the football.
Biggest run of the game there for the Spartans. If they get that going, Kevin, it's going to be tough sledding for the Outlaws the rest of the way as they jump offsides once again.
Mortensen, free ball, deep ball, far sideline. The ball's incomplete. He threw the ball over the head of Suing. Back there in the secondary, providing some coverage for the Outlaws was Eric Sipes. But again, more infractions at the line of scrimmage. Cody, when you see the types of penalties that we're seeing in this game, does it surprise you as far as where and what types of penalties that we're seeing?
Well, it just seems like the front seven for the Outlaws is a bit happy feet here, and not watching the ball in front of them. It's fundamental football, right? And it looks like the Spartans are exploiting that, maybe halftime adjustments. You know, hey, second half, we're going to go on a hard count here, get these guys to jump, and they've done it twice here in this first possession.
For the Phoenix Outlaws, 6 penalties for 35 yards tonight. Once again, a special thank you to our guy, our lead statistician, Zach Elvira, getting things done for us with the numbers. There is Robertson starting it inside, bouncing outside, has the first down, and he gets slammed to the turf in a rude fashion.
A good run there by Robertson. Good vision, seeing the hole is clogged on the left side, bounces out one cut, picking up the first down. And like I said, Spartans are getting this running game going. The front guys up front are starting to eat.
It was that acceleration and then the change of direction, as you mentioned on the cut. Tyson Muse over there to make the tackle as they slam the tailback to the turf. Big run there, another 9-yard run for Robertson. And the Spartans are on the move here as they have the ball on the 31-yard line of the Outlaws. 4 down linemen here for Phoenix. Mortensen back to throw. Escapes the pressure a little bit. Now he wants to run it at the 30. Get to the edge, hold that football out much like a Patrick Mahomes would, and he just glides out of bounds, picks up that extra yard, and the ball will be spotted around the 28-yard line. And again, Mortensen just kind of glides through there. He plays with poise. He seems to be very patient. And as you mentioned earlier in that first half, he just will take what the defense will give him. He's not forcing anything, and he's just playing this game with some solid rhythm.
Came into this game with 0 turnovers. Now, he threw a pick in the first quarter, but once again, a loss of contain from this Outlaws defense. That will be the death of them, especially on third downs in this game if they keep that happening.
Single cover to the top of your screen for Suing. It's Mortensen looking towards DeAndre Dickerson. The ball is batted down and that's picked off. It's intercepted by the Outlaws. This is Dion Hicks, far sideline, looking for some blocks. Hicks to the 40-yard line, and he's going to be rushed out of bounds right there. Nice defensive play there by Hicks as Cody Cameron was just telling you about, only 1 interception for Mortensen. He throws his second right on the spot, but in this case, you have to credit the defensive back for the Outlaws. Hicks did a nice job, a little tip drill to himself, and he was able to gather that football in and then get the return yardage to boot. He puts the Outlaws now in great field position if this play stands.
Broadcaster's curse at its finest right there, Kevin. Dion Hicks, a defensive back I highlighted here in the first quarter. I watched him play for the first time last week. That guy was on an island for most of that football game against the Canes. I thought he did a really good job of man pressing, great fluidity in his hips, man-to-man press technique. There, he was beat by a step, great recovery with speed, long arms, able to tip it into himself, tip drill to himself for the pick near the end zone, and a 45-plus yard return. Dion Hicks for the Phoenix Outlaws, what could be a game-changing play here early in the second half, Kevin.
You talk about the Spartans knocking on the door, looking for some separation, and then Hicks comes up with that play of the game, and he allows the Outlaws to stay in this game with that defensive play, and the turnover edge is now 2 apiece. However, the one turnover most costly here, that was the bad snap over Rico McNeil's head, and it was covered up by Jake Lee for that touchdown in the end zone. And that's where we are here, 14-6 after the Terrell Flanagan touchdown. And with 9:47 to go in the third quarter, they continue to look on the Spartans player. There are several guys around the big fella, and they're just now getting the injured player for the Spartans up on his feet for Sparty. That appears to be Daniel Miller, one of the offensive linemen. And as anybody would tell you, Cody, neither of these teams in this 8-man league can ill afford to lose bodies. The Spartans at the top of the standings at 3-0. The Canes are right behind them at 3-0. Of course, this is pending today's matchups. But the Phantoms at 2-1, the Rebs at 2-1, the Outlaws playing here tonight at 1-2. If the Outlaws can somehow find a way to come out of here victorious, they could even up the books at 2-2. They're in this thing.
And we always talk about 1 or 2 plays. You know, every football game, I know we broadcast a lot of high school football in the area, a lot of college football, any level of football. 1 or 2 plays can change the outcome. But really, when you look at the Outlaws, and this is, like I said, second game we're broadcasting with them, bad snap into the end zone results in a touchdown, 14-point swing there. Their defense, keeping them in games, picking one off near the end zone. You got to clean some stuff up here. Outlaws got to answer.
Cody, when you see the big fellow Daniel Miller kind of gingerly take himself to the sideline here, what do you reckon that could be? Let's play doctor on television for just a second. To me, that still looks like it could be a cramp that's plaguing him a little bit. It could also very well be a knee injury or maybe a calf strain or an ankle injury there. But I'm going to guess and go on the light side and say he's just cramping up right there.
I would hope so. We don't have instant replay. Can't see if it was something on the interception return. Hoping the big fella can return to the ball game here next series.
Rico McNeil at quarterback. He's going to give it up to Seeley. Seeley going to turn the corner, and he's going to get ripped around the 37-yard line there. Playing both sides of the football. That was DeAndre Dickerson Jr., and he was there to snuff that run out. And the way the football was spotted, that was still going to be a 4-yard gain. It didn't look like that Seeley was able to turn the corner and get up the field before Dickerson leveled him, but he was able to make that a productive run.
Antonio Smothers covers the edge so well. They're pressing the double team, making the inside sweep or go inside that's intended for outside, and Dickerson filling the alley, driving his feet through the tackle. I love to see that, Kevin.
Snap back, they go to Williams. Williams trying to get to the line of scrimmage. He's unable to do so. A big hit from the Spartans coming out of that middle linebacker spot. Devorian Jones all over that play, and now we got another Outlaw player down face first here on the turf. And that player is going to find his way to his feet. With this injury timeout, we'll take a quick break. You're watching the AZCFL Game of the Week. The Spartans lead at 14-6, 8:36 to go in the third. We'll be right back. Ball will be spotted on the 45-yard line. And again, great teamwork there by the Spartans to swarm to the football.
Rally team defense there by the undefeated Arizona Spartans. Monstrous 4th down here, Kevin. 4th and inches. Looks like the Outlaws are going to go for it. Are you QB sneak with Rico? I use every bit of 6'4", whatever they're going to list him at, 260 plus.
They got a defensive lineman.
Pistol here.
Yeah,
They're in pistol here.
They got a defensive lineman here. I, too, would be taking a snap, a direct snap under center and letting this guy just burrow his way to first down yardage. They use the hard count. Play fake to Seeley in the slot. He's got the first down, and here comes a penalty marker at the same time. But Seeley started into first gear, chirped it into second gear, spun out of a tackle, and then finally got dropped after first down yardage. but they're another guy in that VW bug, first, second to third, changing directions, and then was able to move the chains. Let's see if it holds up.
Hey, pre-snap had 8 guys in the box there, looked at the numbers, 2-by-1 set. No one flanked out there to get the slot receiver. Easy quick screen for a first. We might have a holding on the stock block, though. It looks, I know, I saw a couple penalty flags. No, it's going to go against the defense. So it doesn't matter anyway. The Outlaws are going to tack on an extra 10+.
How about the cerebral approach of playing the position from Rico McNeil to spot the alignment of the defense and may have had a run play called, but then audibilizes at the line of scrimmage, checks out of it, goes to the slot for Seeley, and they move the chains. That's a seasoned veteran play right there.
That is an effective pre-snap audible by the veteran, Rico McNeil.
So McNeil, by the aid of the penalty, will move the football up to the 42-yard line of the Spartans, trailing 14-6, 7:18 to go, third quarter. Out of the pistol, McNeil flushed out of the pocket, directs traffic, throws near side. Ball is going to be caught. Let's see if they mark it inbounds. Intended target for the Outlaws was Antoine Jackson. He's been targeted 3 times, only has 1 catch out of the first half and some change. If we didn't give you the numbers here, first half numbers for Rico McNeil, 6 of 12, 67 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. That touchdown to his tight end, making a nice play, Jacob Reed. So the tight ends are getting involved in this league. We've seen them in action the last couple of weeks. These guys are making contributions. They're playmakers.
100%, and they're doing it not only in the pass game, but a lot in the run game, especially with the Outlaws here. I'm really fortunate we get to see Rico for 4 quarters here, Kevin, because he's a playmaker.
He is. They give it to Williams to the edge, turn it up the sideline, and picking up yardage there as he lowers his shoulder pads. There's Ben Williams, and you don't think Benny is a guy that's going to lower the shoulder pads and drive the pile, and it looked as though that he was able to do his best effort right there. Speed to the edge, turn it up the sideline, and then get tackled after a 9-yard gain. Give Ben Williams the football.
Keeping his feet moving through contact, too. Just a little outside stretch play, and he loves that play because if he sees gap, he is gone. If those linebackers are not scraping enough, if they get stuck inside, and if the free safety's not filling the alley, that is a touchdown with that seam from Ben Williams.
Cody, you talk about the seam. I call it a crease. Either way, you give him a little sliver of movement and space, he has a chance to beat you. He gets the ball here, start inside, and then try to bounce it outside and then get wrapped up and making another big-time play for Sparty. He's made several plays here early, but Devorian Jones all over that tackle. Nothing doing for Benny Williams. In fact, he lost a couple yards right there. You got to appreciate and respect Devorian Jones getting through that line of scrimmage, and he, too, just blowing that play up.
And Jones is fired up right now, man, and he should be. Great understanding of leverage, keeping the outside arm free, getting a hold of the running back, and making the tackle for loss. Great defensive line play from the Spartans.
Breaking the tackle for the near side here for the Outlaws is their wideout, Antoine Jackson. See if they take a chance his way. 4th down and 4 for Rico McNeil and company. Snap back, play fake, rolled out, dodge a tackler, and he tries to get rid of the football to Williams, and he's going to drop the ball as the pressure was coming in. The guy that you have to credit and highlight here for the Spartans is Christian Upshaw. As Upshaw got to the quarterback, he forced the issue on Rico McNeil. McNeil tried to spin away, couldn't do so, but that strength and athleticism gave him that chance, gave him life. Trying to dump it off to Williams, and it was just too much for that Spartan pressure. They got to the quarterback. They made a play.
Upshaw and Antonio Smothers. Both are Pac-12 products from the University of Arizona down in Tucson, and making the big play for the Spartans defense and getting the Spartans the ball back here in the first half.
What coach does Smothers play for? That's my question. Great name like that. You'd think we would know him more. Robertson will run it at an angle to the near side. And, in fact, they go to Hutchinson, I believe, on this particular carry. Without a spotter, you could literally guess on each and every play. Gold jerseys, white numerals outlined in black. If you don't catch the light at the right angle, sometimes it can be quite deceiving on who's got the pill. But Scotty Hutchinson is the lone setback. He is flanked to the left of the quarterback, Jake Mortensen. Mortensen, the leading passer in this league, trips to the far side of the field in a 4 wide receiver package. Snap is back, looking right, throwing right. Ball is caught, making the reception, gathering the football in, and then turning up the sideline was Terrell Flanagan. From our vantage point here, Cody, it looked like he caught the football, but the Outlaws are saying no, he didn't.
Yeah, and the quarterback took an absolute beating from his blind side there. Carl Manns, a player we have named many times here in 2 weeks. Carl Manns rushing off the kind of delayed blitz with the outside backer, freeing up Manns on the defensive end spot. Blindside hit just absolutely drills Mortensen, and that definitely disrupted the pass. And a drop there. We got a 3rd and long.
The way both teams are playing, you wonder if either team will be able to score the rest of the way. The defenses have started to get dialed in here. Here comes the pressure. Mortensen's going to be, he's still on his feet as he dodges that pressure. Rolling to the far side, throws a bomb across his body to a wide open receiver, and the ball is going to be incomplete. Penalty marker behind the play around the 11-yard line. The original line of scrimmage is on the 35. Somehow or another, Mortensen was evading pressure all the way around the 11-yard line. And I believe for the Outlaws initially on some, it looked like it was 3-0 on the blitz pickup, but perhaps it was 9-0 with the motor. And if that was 9-0, that's our guy again, Carl Manns, as Manns was give him the hurry, give him the pressure, give him everything but a sack.
Manns almost had the big 20-yard loss sack, you know, that every defensive lineman has been at the chomps for. He just gets after it. And then we had a block in the back about 20 yards downfield. Nonetheless, we're going to have a punt. And once again, Kevin, the Outlaws defense making a statement, coming out here on this second half, picking off a pass near the end zone to start the second half, and then a quick 3 and out for this Outlaws defense. Offense got to pick it up here.
People refer to it as a bend but don't break type defense. I'll go another direction. They're just stingy, Cody. They're a stingy defense, and they're making the Spartans earn it if they're able to move the football. So punt situation here. Back deep is Ben Williams. Snap is back for Hutchinson, and Hutchinson puts his right foot into one, and up at the 30 is Williams. Splits one defender, and they're going to grab him down by the ankles and swarm him to the football and take him down to the turf. Again, special teams now here for the Spartans. You had 4 guys down there making a play. It looked as though for the Arizona Spartans team, defensively speaking, that was DeRolin Reeves. How about that name? DeRolin Reeves.
Here's the first one down there. He was actually uncovered on the punt formation, and he was on the snap of that, Kevin, waving his arms like, hey, throw me the football. He's about 15 yards downfield. Punter didn't see him. And even though they had 4 guys down there, didn't you get the feeling like Ben Williams could break that? And he almost did. He almost spun out of all 4 tackles. But a great job by the Spartans special teams getting Ben Williams down.
Got some interesting activity below us here in the press box. We'll have to keep an eye on. 2:02 to go, 14-6 Spartans. Back on the field is Rico McNeil and company and the Phoenix Outlaws. And going back to your last point, yeah, I actually thought that Ben Williams, you give him, going back to the word crease, right? You give him any kind of move, any kind of space, and he can exploit you. He can step right through it and then turn on the jets and then the afterburners, and then you'll see him, Ben Williams, in the end zone. And we've already brought up the play from last week, the 73-yard dash for cash. He can get it done. Now, after a 5-yard play, it'll be 2nd and 5 from the 37-yard line of the Outlaws, working left to right. 1:21 to go in the frame in the third quarter. It's 14-6. So DeRolin Reeves is not playing, but we'll check on that as we update our information. Hand off to Booby, the big fella. Brian Conley. Cody, you're surprised we haven't seen more of Brian Conley in this football game?
Well, this is why I think the Outlaws are, an outlier here. They got 2 or 3 running backs, who are legit. And maybe not, we haven't seen the rest of the league. There could be teams out there that have a 3 running back system that are good. But you got guys like Ben Williams, and then to have the luxury to spell them with Booby Conley, to me, it's a great 1-2 punch. So, yes, I am surprised I haven't seen enough, but the Spartans have done a good job. As you can see right here in this pre-snap formation, they are loading those gaps.
And Brian Conley, a very good receiver as well, and great ball skills. Rico over the middle of the field. The ball's caught on that tight end slant. Nice job there by the Outlaws. One more time for the big fella, rumbling down the field as he was able to sure hand that one. Jamel Ward with some great hands and then enough push to move the chains. What a throw there by Rico McNeil and a great catch by Jamel Ward, and he did the rest. Gain of 13, 1st and 10 Outlaws from the 47-yard line of the Arizona Spartans.
Hey, we had Tanner Swinger from the Canes there saying tight end nation. You know, that is a good use of it. You know, these teams are really utilizing the tight ends, man, and I love to see it.
We have played 3 quarters here at Bell Bank Park on the AZCFL Game of the Week. Moving to the 4th and final stanza. Our score, Spartans 14, Outlaws 6. Cody Cameron, 14-6. They changed directions. Here come the Outlaws moving right to left. And they run that little jet sweep and running right up the middle, running with the football for the Outlaws was Kai Harris. I don't even know how that play stood up. It appeared that it was an incomplete pass on the push pass, Cody. Did he not drop the football and then pick it up in stride?
Well, I'm about to see the replay here from the stream. That's about 10 seconds below. Yeah, actually, it looks like he handed off the ball from the nice little replay we got. And Harris making move. Once again, the Outlaws have a ton of talent here. They utilizing their speed, getting their athletes the ball in space. Good things happen. And they're rocking and rolling now in the red zone.
Kai Harris took that handoff and then turned it up the field for about 25 yards. 1st and 10 Outlaws on the hunt. McNeil from the pocket, outside throw, and the ball is incomplete. Looked like his target was Jamel Ward once again. This time he misfired, but I like the idea. And you got to appreciate Coach Steve Seeley continuing to attack here, trailing by 8.
Well, I love this concept. So if you have a 2-by-2 set and that corner is sitting in a cloud coverage press, do the smash concept. Outside quick hitch, inside slot corner, especially with your tight end, a bigger body player who utilizes his frame. That's exactly what they try to hit there. Tight end just outside of his reach. But I love that concept there for the Outlaws. And now they're going 3-by-1 set here in the trips, and they really like to utilize this set.
To the left of McNeil is Brian Conley. Long count. And now we're going to have some movement up front. And then the right tackle just calmly says, "My bad, I moved." That was Tariq Du Bois. Going back to a couple plays prior to, I mentioned that DeRolin Reeves had made a play, and we get an updated information, and DeRolin Reeves is out today, so it would have been the other 3 making the play. DeRolin Reeves, a linebacker, and then Jonathan Finch, the other noted number 3, he was there making that play. So Jonathan Finch making a nice contribution here in this 14-6 contest. So McNeil now will have Conley flanked to his left. 4 wide receiver package, 3 to the wide side of the football field. Snap back, play fake, looking over the middle of the field. The ball is going to be caught by Azure. Nice reception right there by McMillan, as McMillan makes a sliding catch on the 2-yard line there. And you talk about a throw where only the offensive player can get to it. That was another fantastic throw. We'll call it a dart from Rico McNeil. That was a bullseye pass.
3-by-1 set. We got an arrow going out, inside slant, and then a back or the deeper, wider receiver running that skinny post. We've done 2 games for the Outlaws, Kevin. McMillan, all he does is make plays. Literally. This guy is the moneymaker down here for the Outlaws team. 2 touchdowns last week. Could have another here.
McMillan appears to be their go-to guy. He is a sure-handed receiver, to say the least. They break the huddle. 2 wide receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. There goes McMillan in motion. He stops and lines up to the end. McNeil from the pocket. Penalty marker down. Fires outside. Ball's caught for the touchdown. Making the catch in the corner of the end zone for the Outlaws was Terrion Swag Sanders. Let's see what the penalty mark is all about. That would be the 2nd touchdown pass of the night for Rico McNeil. And now they're going to pick up the flag, and the touchdown is good for the Phoenix Outlaws. And with 12:23 to go in the 4th quarter, we have a brand new ball game. It's 14-12. Let's see if Coach Seeley decides to go for 2 to tie it up here. That would be the no-brainer decision, Cody.
Yeah, they went combo route here, and Swag Sanders was left wide open. Miscommunication in the secondary there for the Spartans, and a great drive pretty much executed by the quarterback, Rico McNeil, putting the ball just on the absolute dot in the chest of the receivers. Couple huge 3rd down pickups there for the Outlaws offensively, getting a touchdown, but no bigger play, Kevin, than right now with this 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion is huge. McNeil has Conley to his left. In the slot to the right is another big target in William Craglow. 3-by receiver package now for McNeil. Snap back, scans the field, throws outside. Ball's going to be caught by the tight end, and he's going to lunge into the end zone for a 2-point conversion. Visiting the end zone for the 2nd time this evening is Jacob Reed. The 2-point conversion is successful. Outlaw fans rejoicing right now. 12:23 to go. Our new score, Outlaws 14, Spartans 14.
And they go in that 3 package here. He actually starts in the backfield. Quick leak out is a natural pick play. Inside slot receiver goes slant. The inside backer who's locked in a read gets picked naturally with the slant route. Leaks out on that arrow, wide open, and Jake Reed with the touchdown. Hey, 9 out of 10 on the touchdown, 10 out of 10 with the dance celebration for those of you watching the Facebook stream. The big man getting down low and tying up the game, 14 all here.
How low will you go when he just showed you right there, and then the moves at the end. Gotta love that kind of swag. Having some fun out here. Now, we'll go back to that little rub play, a little rub route. That was a great call on your part, Cody, but go back to 9 out of 10. It seems like in the National Football League, they call a foul on that a lot. So to see these guys execute that play flawlessly and get the 6 points and then get the 2-point conversion to boot, that's textbook, and that is fundamentally sound right there on that particular series.
Yeah, you have 1 or 2 yards of leeway there where you're able to effectively and legally run that in the NFL and college, and it's so funny. We're getting a ton of comments here saying Reed's 150 years old with his knees, but he's still out here balling.
25-30, 35-40. Nice return on the near sideline. Rumbling down the sidelines for Sparty was Dewitt Caswell. And for Caswell, another running back. Cody, we talked about a team that might have 2 or 3 running backs. There are teams that have 4 or 5 listed on the roster, but in a lot of cases we've seen in our experience that some of these running backs are, they can play multiple positions. They can play special teams, play a little linebacker, whatnot. Depends on your build, but these guys are versatile athletes.
And Kevin, we got 99 numbers on a lot of these rosters. There might not be more than 40 players on each sideline here. So yes, these guys they're all versatile, pretty much playing all over the place. Love to see it.
Breaking the huddle and lining up to the far side of the football field for the Spartans. That is LaRue Burley. To the near side is Sewing. Snap back, handoff underneath. Looked like it was Hutchinson. Call number 5. And it will be Scotty to the pile. Check that. For the Spartans. That could very well be Solomon Burley.
Burley and the tackle, Rafael Flores. This is where the Outlaws front 7 is going to absolutely eat, and they get after it here 14 all. This defense has been playing lights out in the second half here, Kevin.
A gain of 1 for Burley. Working behind the big fella, the center, that is Tony Smith Jr. Mortensen fires over the midfield, and the ball is caught in between the hash marks, right near the 50-yard line. That was Ross Robertson making the play. He, too, showing you his ability to run the football as well as catch it out of the backfield. But Mortensen, many times tonight, has gone underneath to his secondary route runners, and it's been the guys in the backfield. Free play here for Mortensen. Winds up deep ball in a tight spiral that ends up being intercepted near sideline. And who else would it be over there ball hawking? That was Carl Evans Jr. He's had himself a night. Even though that one's not going to count, he was in the right place at the right time again, Cody Cameron.
Yeah, and unfortunately, though, that is a huge mistake from the Outlaws defense. I just gave them so much credit about 2 plays ago on how physical and nasty and smart and fundamentally sound they were playing in the second half. Jumping on 3rd and 4, that is a coach's nightmare. I mean, that is on the SHIT list.
Can't have it.
I don't know if I can say that on here. I know this is the Grown Man's Network, but that is the crap list there, and you absolutely can't have it. It extends the drive, and, you know, more times than not, you see points scored on drives from mistakes like that.
It's like walks in baseball. Just can't do it.
No.
It is just not kosher. Mortensen, hard count. From the pocket, steps through the pocket. Lines up, throws the ball down the middle of the field. The ball's going to be caught at the 20-yard line. Making the catch for the Spartans. It looked like the other 3. Jonathan Finch, we'll double-check the number.
Looks like 9, Kevin.
9 in this case.
LaRue
Burley making the reception.
How about
31 yards.
How about that play by Mortensen? Stepping up. Carl Manns, once again, in his face, in the backfield. Mortensen able to elude, step up, and throw the laser for a 30-yard gain.
Mann's applying the heat once again, give him another hurry. They run it to Scotty Hutchinson, start inside, bounce it outside to the corner, and he'll just run out of bounds. Closest man to him for the Outlaws was Dion Hicks. Hicks has made his imprint on this football game, getting an interception at the goal line, which preserved the defensive stand for the Outlaws, and on their subsequent next possession, they were able to punt it in for 6 on Rico McNeil's second touchdown pass of the evening. For McNeil, he now is at 117 yards and a couple of touchdowns. So it's Mortensen now with his team tied at 14 apiece with 9:08 to go in the fourth quarter on the march. Surveys the field, rifles one near side, it's just way too tall. Talk about getting a little bit amped up here in the fourth quarter. He wanted suing, and he missed everybody that time. And now we came up with a 3rd down and 7.
Yeah,
Is this 4-down territory, Cody?
I was literally just going to ask you there, Kevin. Kicking game. You know, I mean, yes, we're 2 for 2 here on PATs for the Spartans. But when you're 3rd and long, I don't know if you have what would probably be an over 35-yarder in your arsenal. This is a mega 3rd down for both sides.
Suing lines up to the near side. Burley in the slot to the right. Long count for Mortensen. I think they jump off sides. They do. Free play for Jake. He'll throw one towards the end zone, and the ball is nearly picked off. He wanted Suing in the middle of the football field. And there for the Outlaws to break up the pass play was Hezekiah Demps Trannon. Second time we've called his name here tonight. And it was a free play. This is going to be encroachment against the Outlaws. And I tell you what, we see the hard count on Sundays. We see the hard count on Saturdays. All kinds of levels. It's still one of the most effective plays in football.
Well, heck, Kevin, I go on 2 every single play. And it seems like it's working here, especially on 3rd downs. I'd go for 2 again. Heck, I might go on 3 here. It's third and 2. Got to make a stop. And the tough thing about this is it opens up your offensive playbook. 3rd and 8. You're kind of stuck on a couple things. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, we can make some things happen. We can go RPO, trips bunch, which they love this set. Okay, here's the set they love. The trips bunch right, RPO with Mortensen. Let him make his own call. Let's see what they go for.
Mortensen with a back to his left. It's Hutchinson. A dump out pass out into the flat. And that's Burley, as Burley tries to slip a tackle. Penalty marker on the 10-yard line. And the coach for the Spartans is none too pleased. Not sure if that's Aaron Wilkins out there, their OC, but he's a little hot right now as the Spartans will get penalized for holding. And just the little things that we talk about, we kind of go back and forth. The littlest things are so costly. So now they'll push him back, Cody, and it goes back to the idea of the kicking game if they're not able to move the chains here. But for Chris Noble, he's shown you the ability to make conversions, but do they send him back, make something from 35 yards out or not? That would be interesting, to say the least.
I believe this would be 4-down territory. I don't know if you go for which would be a 40-yard field goal attempt here. It's a big 3rd down.
Suing with no help over the top. Single coverage to the near side. It's Mortensen out of the flat. He wants Hutchinson. The ball's caught for the touchdown. Scotty Hutchinson on the receiving end of a Jake Mortensen pass. 22-yard scoring play. And just like that, the Spartans have marched down the field, and they take the lead on that touchdown throw. A wheel route from Scotty Hutchinson, a gorgeous pass play, another outstanding route, and then the versatility of 5. A quarterback 1 week, playing tailback the next.
Mortensen with just enough air under that ball to let Scotty Hutchinson get under it on the wheel route, and they got exactly what they wanted in terms of wheel out of the backfield, cover 0 with the outside backer, floating it right over the tip, basket catch from Scotty Hutchinson, and a huge 3rd down touchdown for the Spartans.
So much for the idea of maybe having to kick it. They'll go for the point after try. They nail it. 7:15 to go. Our new score, Spartans 21, Outlaws 14. And that touchdown pass from Jake Mortensen, his 11th touchdown pass of the season. He hits Scotty Hutchinson. And for Hutch, his first touchdown receiving of the year for number 5. And he is a playmaker.
And we talk about drive extenders, right? You got to capitalize on 3rd downs to get into these scoring positions, especially when you start deep in your territory and have to go back to it, Kevin. 2 offsides there by the Outlaws, shooting themselves in the foot once again, back-to-back weeks here. As a defense, they did a great job, especially in the second half, of getting off the field, getting their offense the ball back, especially in the pick down there in the 3rd quarter. Did not execute on that drive, and Jake Mortensen made them pay.
Love the pass, touch pass, brilliant throw. Tonight's game is brought to you by Cactus Fuel, refueling tomorrow's athlete. Official hydration drink for the Arizona Cactus Football League. Vegan and gluten-free, low sugar and low carbs. Visit them at cactusfueldrinks.com and get our fuel today. Mortensen, 9 of 17, 97 yards and a couple of touchdowns with 2 picks. So we'll give him 10 total touchdowns versus the 11. And back deep from his own 5, 10, 15. Angles of the 20. Carl Evans once again to the 30. Zigzags his way down the field. He's going to take it close to the 40-yard line. Excellent return there by the Phoenix Outlaws. Carl Evans Jr. We've seen his big play ability earlier in this football game. But it's like anything else, Cody. Just give either one of these teams, one of their playmakers, a little space, and they can make something happen.
Yeah, he's really, to me, been one of the top defensive backs in the last 2 weeks. You know, I haven't watched, like we mentioned, we're kind of spoiled because we've been able to see the Outlaws back-to-back weeks. But he does a great job of playing the 2 deep safety in center field back there for the Outlaws. And he's a pretty good return specialist. He's returned about 4 or 5 kicks where he's shown his explosiveness here. But here we go, 7 minutes for Rico McNeil. Let's see what the Outlaws can do.
Let's be honest, though. Head coach Steve Seeley, he's put his team in a position. Now, whether they execute or not to win the game, you know they're going to compete. That's what they've done here again on this Saturday night. Play fake for McNeil. Deep ball, far sideline, has a man there, and the ball is picked off. It's intercepted by DeAndre Dickerson once again in space. DeAndre to the 35, still on his feet, and he'll be taken down at the 30-yard line. Coming over there for the Outlaws to make the defensive play was Antoine Jackson. He tried to strip the football, but the Spartans get another takeaway there on what may have been an ill-advised throw. Tough play there for Rico McNeil, but you have to credit the return man here and the guy that made the pick, and that is DeAndre Dickerson Jr., his second interception of the game. Talk about a little ball hawking out there in center field. He just took another one away.
Safety 101. You are a pass-first player in the secondary. Read the quarterback's eyes. Rob number one. Corner sits in a cloud. He's got soft front, early, short yardage coverage there. Safety rovering over the top, reading McNeil's eyes. High points the ball and picking it off for, I believe, his second interception of the game.
His second, and when he gets the football, he wants to do something with it. We see that when he's running pass routes. He's another playmaker, another one of those guys that just gets things done given the opportunity. Third turnover of the night for the Outlaws. They won't go back to it. It's being redundant, but it bears repeating. Self-infliction here for the Outlaws. If they can get these little things tidied up, they got a chance to turn in a winning slate.
That's tough there. I just rewatched the play on our live stream, 2-by-2 set. Just take what the defense gives you. Going for the home run shot. I understand what McNeil was trying to see. He's seeing the corner once again sit in that soft coverage, the underneath route, but the safety, once again, DeAndre Dickerson Jr. Reading his eyes, playing true center, and picking it off at the high point.
And I will say one thing in defense for Rico McNeil. I think the idea to get the football out on the edge was an okay idea. I think he just really ill-timed the throw and the type of throw. More of a bullet on the edge. He has a chance to complete that play. More of a type of floating type errant pass. That's going to get picked off 9 out of 10 times, Cody.
Got to keep it outside, too. He threw that ball inside.
Mortensen back on the field trying to add to his 2-touchdown night already. Snap back, looks left, scans the field from the pocket, fires over the middle. The ball is going to be caught by Suing, and Suing gets spun around, but Suing's going to have the first down catch as he indicates first down. That's an 11-yard pass play. Mortensen to Suing, Billy Suing, and that'll be a chain-moving catch for Billy Suing.
How about the Spartans and their quarterback, Jake Mortensen? You get the ball, leading 7, 5:30, maybe drain the clock with a couple easy dives. Nope. Go right through the middle, deep in crossing route by Suing. Puts the ball on the money in a big 15-yard gain and first down. Now they're in striking distance.
You talk about huge huevos for Detrick Howard and Aaron Wilkins, their OC. They just will take some chances. Running the football and starting inside, bouncing it outside towards the numbers. And getting caught right there at the hash marks was Ross Robertson. Nice defensive play there again by the Outlaws. One guy in defense over there was John Lewis, among others, among those blue shirts. So that'll be a gain of 7 for Robertson. Second down and 3 from the 13-yard line. The clock now becoming a factor here for the Outlaws. 4:46 to go. They're down by 7 here in the final quarter of this football game. The AZCFL Game of the Week. Mortensen again out of the gun. Uses that hard count again. He's got him to jump off sides. He throws over the middle, and the ball is broken up. Like you said, Cody, go on 2 again. That play is there almost all the time. And now they're going to call a procedure penalty on the Spartans. So what a huge change of events there. See if we can catch the movement on our replay. But I did not expect that to go that way. But perhaps the left tackle, maybe he started that. He spurred that move on.
Tough angle for us here in the press box, Kevin, but it sure as heck looked the defensive tackle crossed the line of scrimmage there. Looked like to be an offsides. I was going to say it was probably about the 13th offsides penalty here in the second half, but call went the other way.
Carl Mann's one of those guys that might have been jumped off. Gabe Flores as well. They got some dudes that we mentioned on the outset of the broadcast. So they'll push it back 5. Second down. End zone shot. There is going to be a caught for the touchdown. Who else would it be? Billy Suing Jr. hauls this one in.
What a throw by Jake Mortensen. Just an absolute dime. Floating it right over the safety, outstretched arms. And what a catch by Suing Jr. Diving over, looking like an outfielder. Just a crazy catch. Great pitch and throw. And another touchdown for the Spartans.
I like to call it a little elevation celebration right there. And Tavion Suing, check that. Tavion's his little brother that plays at Red Mountain, but Billy Suing, a playmaker in this league for a number of years, leaping up like he's hauling that one in on a painting ladder, leaped over the defender as Cody indicated, the Mortensen pass, an absolute teardrop, just a gorgeous throw from Mortensen. There is his third touchdown pass of the night. He now has 11 on the season for Jake Mortensen. And it's 27-14, point after try upcoming. Snap back, kick is on the way. The kick is good. Let's see what this penalty is all about, which gives us an opportunity to introduce to you our AZCFL officiating crew. Our referee tonight is Robert Fogeltans. Our umpire is James Fogeltans. The line judge is William Carson. Our head linesman is Amro Hassanin. The side judge is Matt Kruger. Our field judge this evening is Kevin Kaiser. The back judge is John Pentland. And our center judge is Stephen Smith. So the point after try is good. They'll set up the penalty on the encroachment on the Outlaws, and they'll mark that off on the kickoff here. But how about the quarterback, Jake Mortensen? He's starting to look like an MVP-type candidate. He did not start the season as the signal caller. It was Scotty Hutchinson, but you can give a lot of credit to Detrick about, how he's handling his own personnel. And he said, you know what, we might need to make a move here. And that move, we might have a quarterback that makes the team better.
Well, just comfortable. He looks comfortable out there.
He does.
With more reps, but also not just in the pocket, which he does a great job of stepping up, eluding pressure in that pocket. He throws really well on the run. He brings that dual threat ability. He runs the RPO.
No doubt.
He's effective with his legs. He's also accurate. So all those tangibles you look for in a quarterback position, Jake Mortensen brings that to the table, and he's balling out here in the second half.
Morty, 11 of 19, 125 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Have a night, Jake Mortensen. And here comes Chris Noble from the 50-yard line. It'll be Williams from 6 yards deep. Brings it out to the 10, 15. And he's going to be slammed down to the turf around the 17-yard line. Special teams tackle right there. Diamond Thompson, one of those guys down there, just making it difficult on the return. Penalty marker thrown in. Here comes a second penalty marker down. Now there's a third one and a fourth one. So things are starting to get a little chippy here. Cody, I'm going to ask you, are you surprised that Mr. Williams elected to take that ball out some 7 yards deep in his own end zone?
Heck, if I ran a 4-5, 4-4, whatever Williams ran, I'd do the same thing. Just make something happen. Once again, you put him back there for a reason, to make plays. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get mine. If I'm Ben Williams, I'm getting mine. We're down by 14, and knowing I'm so elusive and I can make people miss, I'm elected to take that.
Just to play devil's advocate, I didn't like the return. I thought his momentum was going away from the play. He had to catch it over his shoulder, then turn around, and then dart out of the end zone. Now, did he make a productive run leaving the end zone? You can make the case that he did. If they spot the football and they were the 23-yard line. But let's see what all the penalties are all about. There's at least one personal foul against the Spartans.
And an ejection.
And somebody got tossed. So last week, we saw an ejection, and that was Rico McNeil. He got ejected for targeting, and he's the quarterback. And if you're watching us at home tonight, you're thinking to yourself, there's no way that big fella, Rico McNeil, got ejected for targeting, and that is exactly what happened on an interception return. It was McNeil who lowered the lumber, and hopefully he got his money's worth because he was ejected in that football game. And it was a game that arguably, with their best players on the field, Cody, they could have won.
Well, look at this, and the ref just spotted, I think Ben Williams got tackled around the 15, and so this is another one of those 30-yard penalties here.
The conversation and the meeting was around the 22, 23-yard line.
Yes.
So for Williams to get to the 15 to the 23, that's an 8-yard difference. And now all of a sudden, the Outlaws have the football in Spartans territory at the 48-yard line, down by 2 touchdowns. You've got to get that figured out on these 30-yard penalties. There's got to be something to it. Well, I'll tell you what, it makes sense. 15 yards for the one and then the 15-yarder on the ejection. That's 30 right there. It makes sense in that regard. McNeil, snap back, looks over the middle of the field, fires that way, and the ball is going to be caught Nice reception there by
And he fumbled.
my guy,
Antoine Jackson.
Antoine Jackson. My paper have just blown away. I beg your pardon there for the delay. And as Antoine Jackson tried to make a second effort there, he had the ball stripped from him. Possession to the Spartans. That would be another turnover here for the Outlaws. But McNeil made a nice throw to the Outlaws, Antoine Jackson, and he made a nice move after the catch. All he was trying to do is make another play, right?
100%.
Extend that play and keep things going as they sort things out here. This officiating crew led by referee Robert Fogeltans. They talk it over, and now it will be Spartans football with 3:44 to go, up by 2 touchdowns.
And that's Antoine Jackson just trying to make things happen, which he did. Great pitch and catch there. Eludes a couple defensive players. He's upset with himself right now, but he was making football moves, man. I really like Antoine Jackson. I think he's a heck of a receiver.
Agreed.
He's got good hands. He's got good speed. They haven't really utilized him tonight. But once again, the Spartans defense, another forced turnover here, especially in the second half. And Outlaws, the common theme, shooting themselves in the foot.
It's happened a couple weeks in a row. I'll tell you what, for AJ, for Mr. Jackson, I like what he possesses in the heart category. I think he's out
He's
there.
a good player, man. And he might have been down. I mean, we have a terrible angle up here, and we don't have replay, but it was close.
So do the Spartans decide to take the air out of the ball here? No, it'll be Mortensen to the air. Under pressure, and he's going to go down. He's going to get sacked. Mortensen goes down. The bookend defensive ends, pressure from both sides. I'll meet you at the quarterback, and that's exactly what just happened for the Outlaws. Zachary Salzman and Carl Mons one more time. It's that man, the man's eater, Carl Mons, getting it done. Sack at the quarterback. There again, for my money, I just run the football and live to play on. You're up by 2 touchdowns. But we're not coaching the team. The Spartans are led by Detrick Howard and a slew of coaches led by offensive coordinator Aaron Wilkins, Rodney Bonner, Steve Dodd, Rafael Herrera, Logan Smith, among others.
Steve Dodd coached at Westwood High School for many years and is hopping over to Tempe High School with Sean Freeman and the new Tempe High staff over there. And Coach Freeman, a couple years as a head coach in the West Valley, went over to Westwood and was a defensive coordinator for the Warriors the last couple years and gets another head coaching gig at Tempe High. So always got to shout out some love for the Arizona high school coaching fraternity.
No doubt about it. So deserving. These guys are underappreciated here for what they do. Great coaches, but also leaders, and they're also in the people-building business. Mortensen on the delay. They run it to Hutchinson. Stiffs on one tackle, 25 to the near boundary, and he'll be run out of bounds there. But Scotty Hutchinson showing you his ability to make people miss. And you talk about picking them up and putting them down. He eludes would-be tacklers.
He does. And one more first down in this game is probably over here, Kevin. But again, we talk about running back committee by the Outlaws, and it's pretty much the all Hutchinson show here for the Spartans in the backfield. Tough first half, but multiple 8 to 10 yard carries in the second half, and that really opened up the offense, especially the passing game for Jake Mortensen here in the second half.
Raymond Reed has checked in at one spot here for the Spartans as they break the huddle with 2 wide receivers to the left in an I formation. The deep back here for the Spartans is, we'll go with Solomon Burley. And they set up a screen to the far side, making the catch and then moving up the sidelines. The Spartans wide receiver, that is Terrell Flanagan. And Terrell Flanagan makes the catch as he glides up the far sideline, short of the line to gain, but a nice throw there from Mortensen. And just a quick hitter. You surprised they're still throwing the football.
I mean, 3rd and 8, or about a 3rd and 11 play there. They have the numbers. You know, the 2-for-1 bubble. It's an effective pass. And chewing up yardage here. And here's they're going to punt the ball here. 4 and 5. I was going to say, you're up 14. It is bad. I wouldn't do it personally. But you go for it and you pick up the first, game's over.
Right.
And we talk about how special teams is so up and down, although the Spartans have been pretty good with special teams tonight.
And the only thing is we're not playing Madden.
No, we're not. This is not Madden. No, yeah. This is, you're playing your buddies.
Well, the Spartans are coming out through the first 4 weeks, and they look like they're a team that wants to contend for this whole thing and get back to where the Rebels are, and that's the state champions. Hutchinson puts this one in the night sky, takes a good carom, and it will be Outlaws football as they spot it around the 34-yard line. See where they end up putting the football down, right on the 34. So the Outlaws down by 2 touchdowns. And this is where you think Rico McNeil will start taking some chances. And I think we talked a couple weeks back, Cody, and the idea is the middle of the field appears to be open if they want to take shots down the middle of the field. We've seen Jackson on the last play that he made was a slant over the middle of the field. I think they need to start attacking down the middle a little bit more here, perhaps on this drive.
If they're going to run that too deep, and especially if those safeties are playing really wide and robbing the outside one receiver, absolutely skinny post, double slant concept, some type of post wheel, something to utilize the middle. Absolutely right, Kevin. Our guy in this chat, Victor Perry, who has been active in this chat.
What do you say, Victor?
Victor Perry has been calling most of this with a lot of the bubble screens, a lot of that trips bunch concept. He wants to see the skinny post as well.
Interesting, though, on the last play by Antoine Jackson, one of our viewers said forward progress was stopped, but the ref called fumble. So that's kind of interesting, and that's what I think Jackson might have been a little bit bummed out about, how he made a great play, and they took the football away from him. Again, on that second, maybe the third effort was what did him in, but it's just it's what we call, that's how the cookie crumbles.
Absolutely.
Cody Cameron.
And we have a couple people saying he was down. Also, a couple people saying you guys have the replay. I wish we had replays. What we're doing, the delay or the stream is about 10 seconds later than the play, so that's what I'm kind of utilizing as a replay here up front. But
and Cody, that's what you're using. My replay is the gentleman sitting in the front of us on the last row here in the stands. As he's watching the game from his phone, I'm picking up his replay, and yes, it might be a little bit delayed, but it looked like it was a bang-bang play and one that went against the Outlaws in this case. So Rico back on the field, works out of the pistol, has to bounce in that pocket, throws, and the ball is going to be picked off again. Who else? Dickerson Jr. in space at the 40, down the sideline, 30, still on his feet, cuts back inside to the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, and he angles towards the pylon. Touchdown, DeAndre Dickerson Jr., a pick six, unofficially 58 yards to the house, and that should be the dagger.
Kevin, there's your player of the game right here. What is that, not one, not two, but 3 interceptions for the defensive back, the hat trick, and the last one, the nonetheless, the gut punch, the KO, the pick six for Dickerson.
Pick six. Done and done right there. DeAndre Dickerson Jr., double D, as they double down, and they take it to the house.
That was awesome right there. And honestly, they had the post. It was like they were listening to our guy, Victor Perry, and us at the booth. They had the post, just Rico overshot it. Dickerson playing the too high, literally in between both number one and the slot receiver. The overshoot, he's right there making many players miss. And if you had the Spartans at the spread, 10.5 or 14.5, you were smashing that all day because you were up 21 and most likely covering on the over in this game. And but what a night for the defensive back.
51 on the over. 51's the line.
51.
So we're right there.
You got to get the extra point here. This is big. For you bettors, man, for you guys smashing the over, here you go. You need this.
Noble's kick is on the way, and it is no good.
The bettors are crying. Oh, boy.
It's no good. So you mentioned the broadcaster's jinx earlier. I don't know if that has any play here, but after the touchdown on the pick six by Dickerson Jr., he has been phenomenal. And you have to credit Rico McNeil trying to make plays for his team, trying to make some desperate type throws, and he just overshot. And it was DeAndre having himself a night. You wonder how many other games he's played in where he's had a 3-pick night. But here he is, and you mentioned it, the old hockey term, a hat trick here in Mesa on this Saturday night.
It's rare. You know, you ask all the defensive backs who's ever played in the secondary, and I would guess that number, Kevin, is about 1%. Heck, when you have a 2-interception night, you feel on cloud nine, man. There's no better feeling. That's like scoring 3 touchdowns on the offensive side. When you get a pick, especially a pick 6, you're the man of the hour.
It's almost equivalent to scoring 3 goals in a hockey game.
Oh, it's incredible. Heck, a pick 6, it's
you go roof once.
Oh man, I'm going right to the cheerleaders, man, on my pick 6.
Nothing wrong with that. 1:36 to go, 34-14 for the Spartans. They've allowed 26 points through 4 games. Their Spartans defense has certainly given them opportunities to win, and with 4 takeaways here tonight, plus they have been outstanding in the theft department.
Yeah, like we said, we had heard stories about this defense, and they have come through in multiple ways.
They have not disappointed, but we put a lot of focus on the defensive front, and deservedly so, but it's been their secondary that has been phenomenal here in this victory. So Noble sends one deep. It'll be taken inside the 20. One more time. Midfield on his feet. To the near sideline. 30, 20, 15, 10. Dives towards the pylon as he somersaults into the end zone. That's going to be a touchdown for the Outlaws. Carl Evans Jr. houses one. Unofficially an 81-yard kick return to the end zone. It's 34-20, point after try upcoming. With $1:22 to go. Don't go away.
Carl Evans is a monster. You know, we spotlighted him throughout this entire game for his tremendous play in the secondary for the Outlaws, but he is a threat to house it anytime he returns a kick too. How about cutting against the grain at midfield? A nasty stiff arm to the kicker. Kicker had no chance there, Kevin, and explodes in the dive somersault into the end zone for the kick return touchdown for the defensive back.
That's how you finish a run, with the dive and the somersault as you break the plane of the goal line. You talk about doing something in style. Carl Evans Jr., have a night, young man. And for Carl Evans Jr., that one went for 81 yards, the house call, but he also had another 45-plus on another return. He's over 150 yards in return yardage for the big fella.
And this is a respected player in this league, and I'm basing that off this group chat because we just had an absolute blow-up, 7 to 8 comments on this Facebook Live here.
McNeil to the end zone for the 2-point conversion, and that pass is incomplete. Penalty marker comes in late. The intended target for the Outlaws was Nicholas Murguia. And you saw the arm strength again there for McNeil as he tried to rifle that pass in there to the chest of Murguia. Incomplete, and the penalty marker was thrown from the back judge. That was actually behind that play, Cody. So he had a pretty good angle and good viewpoint there. And for the Spartans hustling onto the field to be a difference maker here in this point after try is your guy, number 99, Rafael Lee. So Lee back in there in position. They break the huddle. 2-point conversion. In the slot to the right for the Outlaws is Ben Williams. Empty set now for McNeil. Snap is back. It'll be McNeil on the quarterback draw. McNeil to the goal line, and McNeil's in for the 2-point conversion. It's now 34-22 with 1:22 to go. I like that play call. I like the idea of just the no-fear McNeil. And where has that play been prior to now?
5 wide, empty set, 1-step drop back, fake something quick to the trip side, get the inside backers to float or just pause hesitant once, and then go up for the quarterback delayed sneak. That play is money, especially with the quarterback like Rico, and that's some good stuff there. And we have D'Angelo D'Lo Dunbar in this chat. Do you know who that is?
What do you say, D'Lo?
He is one of the best defensive coaches in the state of Arizona, the Highland Hawks. That is the Highland Hawks. And if you like defense, the Highland Hawks are nasty.
They're good.
A nasty team. And he is He is I believe he's a legend in
State
this league
champions,
here.
too.
Oh, state champs, yeah. I mean,
They beat
running the table.
Chaparral at
Beating
Sun Devil
Chap.
Stadium.
Yep.
Didn't you and I call that game, or maybe not?
No, that was Casa Grande.
Oh,
That was
okay.
Casa Grande.
All right.
Yeah.
Did a lot of
games, though.
Did a lot of games lately. I know you and I. That was the only one we worked, huh? Okay, there you go. I called all 3 of those championship games here. We were at Sun Devil Stadium, and some great football here in the great state 48. All right, 34-22. You know, you have to respect Rico McNeil. Yes, he has the picks tonight, and we go back to the same narrative that we had in the first quarter. If the Outlaws could just take care of the football, value the rock to some degree, to any degree, they'd be in this football game. Again, they gave away a touchdown on a bot snap. It's just too many freebies for the Outlaws in the last 2 weeks that we've had the privilege to watch. So you know that these guys, once they iron some things out, Cody, they could find the winning way.
Talent, speed, athleticism, defensive line, they have those things. They have the formula to win games. They just got to put it all together for 4 quarters.
Got to appreciate the play of Carl Evans Jr. He made it all possible. Onside kick. Did it go 10 yards? I don't think that it did. We're waiting for some flags. The ball appears to be recovered initially by the Outlaws, but the question is going to be, did the ball travel 10 yards? And one guy playing official down there for the Outlaws is our guy, Antoine Jackson, and he indicates that it's good and that it should be their football. And why not? Special thank you to our global viewing audience here around the great state 48 and around the country. Thanks for watching tonight's game. It's 34-22. Spartans have the lead over the Outlaws. This is the AZCFL Game of the Week on the CMX Network. And you can always go back and watch these games again a second time.
I was telling Kevin here, guys, everybody watching the broadcast, still 83 of you live, that I went back on Sunday morning last week, 1,500 viewers. 1,500. 1,500 viewers, 283 comments. I was shocked by the fanfare and just how, I mean, this is an active league with a great audience. I mean, tremendous audience, and we appreciate the heck out of y'all because it makes our jobs in the booth really fun. We love football. We're football guys. It's a good time up here.
No question about it. You know, Cody, you always hear the cliche, if you build it, they will come. Well, they built it out here at the Legacy Sports Complex. Matty Archer got it together. This is a league that's been running for almost a decade now, and it's well run. And there's some good football players in this league. And as you and I mentioned before, a true tip of the cap to the players that are out here. And a rarity. We don't even use the word student athlete. This is professional. These are semi-pros. These are moms and dads. These guys are out here giving it up to a high degree. And it's our entertainment, and hopefully it is your entertainment at home as well. It's a great league with a tremendous fan base. And if you have fans, you have a league.
100%. And I love it's a family environment up here in the stands, a great venue. You got the food, you got the drinks, you got the kids watching their dads go one last hurrah. And you have the Spartans. And the Spartans now matched up with the Canes, a perfect 4-0 on the year at the top of the standings.
Undefeated, and go ahead and start looking at your schedules for the weeks to come. When do the Spartans and Canes square off? That's going to be a good one. Hopefully, you and I are on the call that week. We'll wait and see what happens here as the handshakes commence here at the 50-yard line. One ejection tonight, so we've done well in that category, but a great game for Jake Mortensen and his wide receiving core. Mortensen was the best player on the field in many cases. You can certainly make a case for DeAndre Dickerson Jr. as Double D had a pick six. He had 3 interceptions tonight. He was roving out there in the secondary. He was a clear difference maker, but Mortensen at the helm, at the position, just too strong of a game with the pass play and then the ability, as you pointed out several times, just his ability to be a playmaker and that dual threat possession that he plays. He's just fantastic right now.
And you got guys up front defensively for the Spartans too. Antonio Smothers, Christian Upshaw, Davarian Jones, who are just active. They're violent. They get after it. Those are sideline to sideline playmakers up front for the Spartans. A good linebacking core, and then a secondary who is ball hawking out there. That is a great defensive team. And heck, when you get opportunities, and especially, we'll talk about Morrison just consistently making plays, especially in that second half, he had clean pockets pretty much all night against a really good defensive line from the Outlaws. He had clean pockets to throw to, and they executed in the second half, and they took advantage of opportunity.
Cody, great point here, but, look at Morty, 6'4", 220, Mesa Community College. Looks like he's building some cabinets. He's into the carpentry work, but you think Perry High School, quarterback. Why don't I know that name? Well, because the Purdy's went through Perry High School for 8 years. She had 2 Purdy's at quarterback as freshmen. They started on the varsity. If it wasn't Chubba, it was Brock. It was actually Brock first, then Chubba. Now those guys are on to bigger and better things. Where do you think Brock Purdy ends up? Will we see him on Sundays? Is he going to be a guy that's drafted here upcoming? What do you make out of Brock Purdy and his stock going forward? And the chance to play on Sundays for a guy like that.
It's a light quarterback draft this year in the NFL. I believe he'll be a day 3 guy for Brock. But also, looking at when we got these game notes, I think one of the coolest things, too, because we do both cover Arizona high school football, is seeing all the Arizona talent. There was a ton of local talent, especially on that Spartans roster, and a couple University of Arizona Pac-12 football players, too. That's really cool to see. And the extra love for Arizona high school football here in the Cactus League was really cool.
Let's take it another level. Ross Robertson out of Palo Verde High School in Blythe, California. He played NAIA ball for Arizona Christian University. So out of the Sooner Athletic Conference for Jeff Bowen, if you want to play football, there's a means. There's an avenue for you. There's a lane to take. Can you get in the lane? Can you hammer down? And can you stay with the traffic? That's the idea here for a lot of these guys. Jake Lee, a touchdown tonight. He, too, was highlighted early in this ball game. But our final score here tonight from the Bell Bank Park here at the Legacy Sports Complex, it's 34-22. Outlaws fall to 1-3. Sparty now undefeated at 4-0, as Cody pointed out. It has been a great game. For Ross Falcone, Christian, our entire broadcast crew, we appreciate everybody, what you guys do. He's Cody Cameron. I'm Kevin Derryberry. Until next time, so long for now.